Welcome to the program. Welcome to the show, guys. I started the show about 10 minutes early, so I don't know if everyone's going to get the notifications yet. But this is the Archie Lecture live stream. I am the narrative, guys. We're going to talk watches. We're going to talk wenches. We're going to talk drama. We're going to talk all of it today on the Archie Lecture live stream. I'm going to pregame you guys. I'm going to get you guys started until Big Boy decides to fucking wake up out of bed. We're going to talk some watches. We're going to talk some shit. But let's start off by seeing who's in the chat as people trickle in because, like I said, started this about 10 minutes early. You guys are used to Archie showing up late, but we are not used to an Archie live stream that's a little bit early. So first in the chat, Mrs. Wilkinson, who's saying, freezing tonight in Chippingcampden, Gloucestershire. However, Archibald will keep me warm. Well, Mrs. Wilkinson, let's hope Mr. Wilkinson does not see that message. We got BCB. You know what's funny? BCBC is Archie. He sees your messages and he doesn't know that you literally post the same message every day. And he's like, oh, we got to delete this guy's message. I'm like, BCBC literally writes pure shit every day. Obviously, when you see it, or as Archie calls them, one UCLT in the chat, always one of the first in the chat. Appreciate the support. Darth Negus is saying happy birthday to AC3 and is saying that his favorite Patek is the 6006. Not sure why. Honestly, the 6006 is an interesting reference. It uses the 240 movement, which is pretty obscure in a Calatrava. Like, it's usually reserved for, complications ranges. And, you have it in the 5712, for example, Nautilus. You have it in my world time, 5230, Archie's world time, 5130. So pretty epic movement. The problem with 6006, I think for some people is just, that range, 6,000, 6006 was a bit busy on the dial. But honestly, Darth, like, in today's day and age, busy dials are actually, for a dress watch at least, are pretty popular. So I think that watch is pretty cool for today's day and age. When I was looking at that watch, like probably about 10 years ago, it wasn't super popular, and I was very unsure about the busy dial. We got Rich Mitch who says hello. Nice to see Rich Mitch. We got Jimmy. We started a little early, so the algorithm may not push it out. It may take people a little bit. So I'm gonna take it slow. I'll talk some watches as people trickle in. Timmy Boitano, did Big Boy meet? I think he means 1916. Timmy, apparently yesterday when Archie went to the Hong Kong show, Waco was speaking. He says it wasn't really the show like Watch Time New York. It's not a booths and watches. It was like kind of like speaking engagements, I would say. And I think Tim Moss was coming today. So Archie said on the morning show that he's going to try to see Tim Mosso today. Archie is flying back to Australia tonight, so who knows? But I'm gonna definitely try to pressure that guy to see Tim Mosso. Adriano's the warm up act. Yeah, if you really think about it, I'm kind of like the opening act to Archie. So thought, you know what, I was a little late. Like, there was a lot of traffic on my way home, and I was like, I originally set it up for 5:45. Had to eat something, and I was like, it's gonna be a little late. And I was finished everything literally about 10 minutes before the show started. So I said, why wait here for 10 minutes? Why not just fire it up? The only downside is obviously the algorithm may not push it out, or it may not hit people's feeds, but people will know the show's on. They'll find it. So I'm not too worried. Logan Hall in the chat, is this what they call the hate streams? Yes, the brainwashing streams. Unfortunately, Logan Hall, this stream is the stream you're going to find educational watch content, not just wow, amazing bullshit, thumb swipe, or scrolling through European watch companies' website every single day. Now we're going to talk watches. I have a really interesting topic about complications that I want to talk to you guys about. But let's first get to the super chat. Muhammad Ali, thank you so much. £5 Tan will get the first cubitus in Canada. I'm crossing my fingers, Muhammad Ali. In my watch group, there's one guy I know that is checking one out at an AD in Toronto. So we shall see how she goes. But yeah, first cubiti are being distributed already right now. Obviously, an Archieverse member, Russell996, unveiled his on the show I did a few days ago. Huge congrats to Russell on getting the platinum version of the cubitus. I actually really like this two-tone version. Gives me obviously the 5980 vibes, and I always felt the 5980 was probably the best two-tone watch ever, in my opinion. Right? I know that people are going to disagree. People like the Bluesy, Submariner. No, things for me, it's the 5980. To me is the ultimate two-tone watch. We got Ducky in the chat. Ducky's a good member of the Archieverse. Apparently Ducky had bought Ducky. I don't know if you got a Saxonia. I think it was a Saxonia and got called out back in the day for buying the Saxonia. So A lot of respect for Ducky being a Lange fan. Everything else. We got Caliber YQG in the chat. I would take one if offered, of course, but not a huge fan. 1815 up down. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. All right, let me find this article that obviously the topic of the day was kind of or at least the topic of the show was Thierry Stern's comment um about haters and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you guys I'm going to show you the article that this came from. Obviously, the article's in German, so I'm gonna translate this for everybody. I'm going to highlight a couple of points, and I'm going to talk about my thoughts of this statement and what it means. It's caused a lot of furor in the industry and in the collecting sphere and amongst enthusiasts around kind of the choice words that Thierry Stern used here. So let me just translate this to English because obviously I don't speak German. I've actually had Higgins look at this article as well, just to confirm that obviously the Google translates working properly. It's not off. Like the German translation is correct and whatnot. But a couple points I want to talk about in this article before I get into my main topic, which is about complications. Before I do that, Timmy Boitano, did anyone catch the unboxing on Diego's last night? Blue ceramic AP, thoughts on the watch? Honestly, man, it's a cool watch. I like the blue ceramic APs, but I mean it's an AP, right? Like most people don't. I mean, I would say a lot of high horology collectors aren't really into APs. Timmy Boyton, I'll give you an example. I was selling my Royal Oak 15500, and I know a number of Patek collectors in Canada. And I reached out to one of the brokers that a lot of them use. They kind of give it to this one guy, and he spruiks it all over to get it sold. I reached out to him, and I'm like, hey, I got a 15 AP 1500, 15500. Do you think any of the Patek collectors would be willing to part with a 5212 or something? And he just said to me straight up, he's like, Patek collectors don't buy AP. Like straight up, he's like, they're not interested in that shit. So that's kind of my assessment on it, Timmy. But it's part of my topic today, so we'll get into that in a little bit. Watch Collector UK, nice to see you. Try to hopefully this time is decent. It's a little late for you guys in the UK, but I try to start as early as I could for you guys. Stern did, yeah. Okay, so this is a good point. Caliber YQG. Thierry Stern generally is I'd say he's quite politically correct in his interviews. I've watched a lot of them. Whether either watching it on YouTube with Waco and other people, or reading articles where people have interviewed him, and they've asked him some tough questions, especially around the Nautilus, right? Production of the Nautilus, and obviously a lot of the anger that's been in the collecting space because of shortages of sports Patek models. And look, Thierry Stern's always been pretty humble, pretty cordial. But in this article, a bit off the cuff, and when I heard the quote, I actually didn't believe it at the start, because I was like, look, I mean, I've heard, I know people that are obviously, that know Thierry Stern, that have a relationship with Thierry Stern, personal relationship with Thierry Stern, or whatever. They know him very well, basically, is what I'll say. And they've told me that he's not exactly the nicest person. He's a bit of an arsehole or whatever. But whenever I've seen him in his capacity as CEO or president or whatever, he's always been, pretty good with the interview. So in this interview, guys, this is with I think it's either an Austrian or German magazine. Basically the headlines here are: haters are mostly people who never had Patek. And I'm just gonna go straight to the haters comment. There's a bunch of other interesting comments in here, but um, you know, there's really the main comment here. So um, the the article or the interviewer says, speaking of criticisms, the cubitus was leaked 2 days before its launch and caused a shitstorm. What does that do to you? And Terry Stern replies, as I said, I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me. We all get attacked every time we launch something new. And I think that's true. The haters are mostly people who have never had a Patek and never will. So that doesn't bother me. What counts for me is the result. And I'm confident about the cubitus because I have a good nose and a lot of professionals around me who told me that it will work. So, this in and of itself is really the comment that has caused a lot of controversy, especially around they never had a Patek and never will. So what I think he means by this is, now obviously he's speaking, I think, an unspoken truth. There's obviously a bit of pretentiousness. There's, later in the article, the interviewer says, well, I mean, this is an entry level piece costing 35,000 Swiss francs. Like, it doesn't really sound really entry level for me, to me. And Terry Stern replies, well, that's affordable for a Patek. So, just by design, I mean, owning a watch of this brand, it means you're spending a lot of money. It means by design, it's going to exclude maybe 95, 96, 99% of the population to buy this watch, or their watches, just because, their entry points are so steep. Um, and unless you're going to buy like a vintage, really small model, I mean, your cheaper ones of modernish stuff are like, you're hovering at least above $20,000 or around $20,000 if you go with like a 5196. So, um, what he means by this is most of the haters never owned a Patek or never will. But I'm confident in the result, right? He's talking about his own customers, right? He's saying a lot of the naysayers are not my customers, and I don't think they ever will be my customers. And so I'm catering to what I believe my customers want, and whether that's delusional or not, whether a lot of folks have said, "Hey, I think Thierry Stern is just being a little." He's being that boss who kind of thinks they know it better than his staff or the market and just is releasing something that maybe the market doesn't want. Well, when I kind of look at it and I look at Patek collectors, right? Like, I mean, we have a big one in our community, Russell 996. He owns minute repeaters. He owns a one of 10 rare handcraft from last year. I mean, Russ has like 5 Nautilus. Like, the guy has everything, and he still bought a cubitus. So I think Thierry Stern here is being somewhat accurate in that his buyers, his customers are going to buy this watch. And the majority of everybody else that's chiming in, the armchair guys, the YouTubers, the journalists and all these other guys, they aren't his customers. They are not going to be his customers, right? Now, do I believe that there is a small group of people that maybe that could be customers and are a bit turned off by his comment? Absolutely. Um, I know Longier collectors that can afford these watches that saw this comment and were like, "This is exactly why I don't buy this brand, because it's the attitude of the Swiss, the hubris, right?" Um, so for me, it's not an inaccurate statement. It's not really a great statement. I don't think it's a good business move to be so upfront about the just the elitism, I think, in the brand, and which is kind of shaping the brand, I would say. Um, it's kind of an unspoken truth that if you own a Patek Philippe, you're obviously you either really love watches and you've saved up a shit ton of money, or you probably have a bit of cash in the bank. So to me, I'm just like, when I hear the statement, most of the haters never had a Patek and never will. I mean, I could point YouTubers, that have never had a Patek and I think will never will, right? And those are some of the biggest naysayers out there. So I think there's some truth to this. I think there's some value to what he's saying. I just think that for him to say it was a bit of a wrong move. I don't think it's a great move. I think it's brought a lot of heat and blowback. I think that he probably doesn't want. Definitely read this article, guys. I'm gonna drop it in the chat actually, for you guys to if you guys want to independently check it out. I would highly recommend. I would highly recommend Google translating the article if you don't speak German, obviously. But check out this article for yourself. There's a lot of it's a really cool article because the interviewer is not like Waco. He's not just throwing up like softballs at Terry Stern. They're asking like some pretty, I would say some pretty spicy or pretty hard questions, and you can tell Thierry Stern is responding a bit off the cuff. So one of the most interesting interviews, I would say, that I think a lot of the other answers are being overshadowed. Now, I don't want to take over the entire stream talking about this article. That's why I dropped it. I do have another topic, but we do have a super chat here from Basil's Bezels, $2. There is wrong if no one is talking. Yeah, that's a good point, Basil's. Like, you know, the controversy of this watch, and I think that, like, I think it was very predictable that, when you bring out a watch like the Cubitus, it's going to have controversy. You're releasing a square watch at a time when square watches are just not popular. And I asked that question to people. I said, look, I mean, what the hell has VC done? What has AP done? Right? They released new lineups that were circular dress watches. Now, circular dress watches are not popular today. So for Patek to come out with a square watch, in my opinion, is definitely pretty it's pretty unique. And I think that it's important to understand that, like, yeah, like this is why, this is why there is controversy, because it's just something that they just were not expected to do. And when they weren't expected to do it and they come out with something like this, obviously there's some shock factor to it. The non-Patek, the people that don't are never going to buy a Patek anyways are just arguing and saying, "Oh, this is a bad move for the brand," and all this other shit. Nah, bro, you're not banned. America, you're not going to get banned here, right? I think your wrench was taken. You're not banned, bro. Like, don't worry about that. Um, but yeah, for me, it's the shock factor, I think, is very, very important. We got Russell996 join us in the chat. Nice to see you, Russ. Andreas, Patek Philippe makes less than 50. That's about 70,000 watches. Why all this stupid discussion over 35 pounds of the cubism that will be issued? Why all this stupid discussion over 35 pounds of the cubism that will be issued next year? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, a lot of folks just, it's so. I would say, Andreas, why it's so important is the brand hasn't released a new line in 27 years. The last time it came out with a new lineup was the Aquanaut. So this is pretty momentous, I would say. 30, almost 30 years they haven't come out with a new lineup. That is why everyone's talking about it. And number two, the lineup is controversial. Number three, the CEO of the brand basically comes out saying, "Look, all these haters that are talking shit about this watch, never owned a Patek and never will." So I think there's truth to that. Is it a great thing to say? Is that something is that a belief I adhere to? No, it's not. Like, I was one of those guys who never thought he would be able to own, this kind of a watch. Worked hard in my life, was able to figure it out. But, you know, I know from the outside looking in, I can see that. I personally myself probably would hate, like that too. So I don't think that I think there's a lot of truth to it. People have a right to be upset about it. I don't disagree with that. I think Thierry Stern probably shouldn't have said that, but I think he's speaking a truth that we all know. And so I'm kind of like, is it really controversial? America 5726, $10. Thanks so much, America. Such great messaging and PR here from leadership. Your POR and you will never own a Patek. You haters, suck on these bitches. Luxury, old money, oozing class, distinguished. Yeah, America. Like, when everyone came out saying the cubitus is uninspiring, it's lazy, it's, I kind of like scratched my head and I was like, isn't that the entire fucking Swiss watch industry? Like, these same guys who are saying it's lazy and ugly, or just lazy, are the same folks that simp when Rolex comes out with, like, a fucking different colored bezel on a fucking Batgirl, right? Like, the Bruce Wayne guys. Oh my god, the Bruce Wayne. Sorry, Bear. Love you, Bear. The Bruce Wayne guys. The Bruce Wayne. It's a fucking different color fucking bezel. That's all. Like, it's a fucking Batgirl. Like, what are you talking about? And you're calling fucking this lazy? Like, this is a whole new lineup. Get fucked. I call out all these guys. Get fucked. If you think that, like, the rest of the Swiss watch industry is not lazy. Let's use other examples. Let's not even use Rolex examples. Let's use Omega. Everybody's simping over the fact Omega comes out with a white dial Speedmaster. Oh my god, guys. Amazing work from Omega. They're so great, guys. Oh my god. Simp, simp, simp. That's one of the laziest fucking things I've ever heard. They changed the color of the dial, and you motherfuckers are sitting there simping these guys. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Mr. GMT, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what are you calling lazy, bro? I'm not calling you out, GMT. I'm just having a bit of fun. Doing a bit of shtick here. But what I mean here, guys, is there has been many examples of something like this in recent times. Tudor Black Bay Chrono fucking pink dial. It's a pink fucking dial. And everybody's like, oh my god, guys, I have to have that watch. But, like, if Patek puts in an Autolus fucking dial in this watch, oh my god, it's so lazy, bro. Like seriously, guys, get fucked. Like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, if you actually know anything about watches or the watch industry, you would not say a comment like that, because that's just fucking dumb. America 5726, $10. Tan, please keep the poors and losers away from the brand. Do not enter, you homeless and pathetic rabble. How dare you? The new Cubitus is unparalleled. You know what, America? What I find absolutely funny is this should be Archie's field day, right? Like, this is where the CEO of the brand comes out and says, "You haters will never own this brand. You'll never own my watches," and you never did. Like, this is Archie's like shtick at its finest, right? I told Archie, I mean, you need to do a video of Archie Luxury actually responding to this, because this is where, like, I think, he would shine in this comment. In terms of, like, look, I was one of these guys at one point, America. I wasn't always made of money. I had to work hard for my money. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not a trust fund baby. I had to work hard for my money. Um, and so for me, I looked at it at one point in my life when I was, I think I owned a Rolex at the time, some Omegas and whatnot, and it was, was interested in watches. And you can't be interested or a watch enthusiast without, ever encountering the brand Patek Philippe. And for me, yeah, Big Tony, it's definitely his wheelhouse, man. Like 100%. Like I really think it would be a missed opportunity for him. For me, America, it's like I just I get it. I understand if you're people look at these watches and like fuck, it's so much money, and why either they can afford it and they just don't want to spend that money, or it becomes a bit unobtainium for most folks. So I understand the kind of disdain around the cubitus. It may be very difficult for people to get. I mean, Russell himself had mentioned, hey, because I asked Russ, I said, Russ, do you think this is going to be more readily available? Than the Nautilus and Aquanaut. Russell's like, man, my AD has like fucking 6 orders of the platinum, like right now. So he's like, I really don't think so. I want to give a huge shout out to somebody who hasn't been here in a while, Der Stiefel, an OG of the Archieverse. I saw you, Der Stiefel, send a nice happy birthday message to Archie in the morning. Archie's going to be on Der Stiefel in about 45 minutes. I kind of do the kind of the pre-show every once in a while, just get everybody kind of, I want to make sure that we have something on for the punters, especially if they're having their dinner or they're having a drink after work, or making their dinner and just relaxing. I kind of eat my dinner a little later, so I tee us up. And then when Archie comes on, I skedaddle to get some dinner. But yeah, appreciate you being in the chat, Der Stiefel. It's been a long time since I've seen you. He writes, I want a cubitus. Give me cubitus, man. In the words of our hero, Patek and Pussy. Captain Shitter, the two-tone is my favorite. Love Stern's response to the haters. Take a double down. Talk a double down. Talk about a double down. Der Stiefel, do you still have your travel time? I think it was a 5124, 5134. What I don't remember. I remember you bought it. Beautiful watch, man. I was really happy to see you get that watch. Der Stiefel's been, obviously Logan Hall knows him from way back. Yep, absolutely. Green Man. So just an update on the Tim Mossel thing. So yesterday, Archie met up with Waco because Waco was speaking at the event. Apparently, Tim Mossel is speaking today. Now, Archie does fly back to Australia tonight. So he did say he's going to go see Tim Mosso. I don't know too much. We can obviously ask him when he comes on in 45 minutes. But that's cool. Fella, isn't this misguided? Since when does anyone actually listen to someone on YouTube who is a real collector? Anyone criticizing it on YouTube is highly unlikely to be the target. So who cares? Yeah, that's exactly, I think, the point, Fella, that Terry Stern is making is, you know, his buyers will buy this watch, like, and I'll tell you, like, we've got, I think, 4 Patek collectors that own pretty serious Patek Philippe watches between CB, Russell 996, Fella, and myself. All 4 of us think that the Cubitus is going to be a success, and really, like, all the naysayers that are out there are probably the group that Terry Stern's talking about, right? Whether it's Oisin O'Malley, Fella, or anybody else, people that probably will never own the brand, and it just really aren't the target market for the brand. So, again, as Andreas or somebody else pointed out, the brand only makes 70,000 watches a year, and they basically sell out. So they don't need to cater to the Omega Speedmaster owner, and they really don't. And for them, look, I don't think they're being. I don't think he's trying to be rude. I think he's just trying to say reality of, like, look, my buyers will buy this watch. My buyers are asking for more breadth or more depth in the sports range and access to more pieces, and I'm providing it for them. But this is for them, right? 35,000 Swiss francs is not, it's not for everybody, right? Fella, I haven't heard a single opinion in the real community of buyers that match. Yeah, exactly, right? Like Russell 996 bought, he has one. I unboxed it or unveiled it 2 days ago, right? And he's the first in the Archieverse to get one. CB has said he wants one. I've said I want one, right? And I know you want one too, fellas. So what's going on, Rufus? Nice to see you. Andreas Patel, he being here sure be something. Oh my god. Don't get me started, Andreas, with Lux. I think some people are jealous because Paddock hit it out of the park with the Cubitus. Big Tony, I think that people are a little bit. I think people are in shock, right? I think people are in shock. They weren't expecting this. Number one, square watches are just not popular. We all know that they're just not popular in today's day and age. So, right away, people are like, "Why would you come out with a square watch and this and that and all of this shit?" Now, so I think if they came out with a circular sports watch, maybe that could have been okay, but it really depends on the design. I think that, like, for their brand, the 70,000 watches they make, I think they're going to find a buyer for every one of these. I don't think these are going to sit. And then the reality is that yeah, it's some. I think look, I think some of it's jealousy. I disagree with you here, fella. I think some of it is jealousy. I think some people, um, they are just jealous that hey, this is gonna like the amount of people that said, hey, cool, they came out with this entry level piece, but we'll never be able to get one, right? They're kind of just jealous of other people that do get one. For me, I actually applaud people. I was very happy that Russ would share his watch with the community. I was able to showcase it in the Archieverse. He answered a bunch of questions and whatnot. I do want to give a big shout out to Bear Clooney Watches. He unboxed or unveiled 3 watches yesterday. A mint green dial, date just on a Jubilee, beautiful watch. A Bruce Wayne, which I was trolling earlier, but Bear, I love the Bruce Wayne, and a Sprite. And I think the Sprite, Bear, was on. I think the Sprite was the Sprite on Oyster. I think you have both. You have a Jubilee and an Oyster, but I think the new one was the Oyster, as far as I remembered. But big congrats to Bear. It was actually pretty cool. I actually missed that segment, Bear. I was driving home today, and I was watching part of the show that I missed yesterday, and that's where I saw it. So my bad. I know I've seen some of these watches because you've texted them to me, but yeah, I really do like the Bruce Wayne Rufus. I think it's really good. Don't be so critical over Rolex fanboys. I have loved this watch from the. Yeah, I don't think. Well, first of all, you're a Patek owner, anyways. So for you, I don't. I think you're excluded in this, right? So I don't think that he's speaking about you. Der Stiefel, I believe $32,000 for the stainless steel is a bit high. I was expecting it to come around the 35K price point, rather hoping it was come around that price point. Yeah, look, Der Stiefel, that's entry level for Patek, right? Like in that article, even the guy asked, he's like, 35,000 Swiss francs, like doesn't sound entry level to me. And Terry Stern is like, well, that's our that's affordable when in our brand lineup. That's what we consider affordable. It's like going to fucking Ferrari and saying, well, what's your most affordable car? And it's like fucking 300 grand, right? Like, I mean, it's all relative there, Der Stiefel, right? It's all relative. Crazy watch. Patek Philippe cubitus is the answer to the Santos by Cartier. I like the Santos. It's quite thin. I like how thin it is. I like how weight sits on my wrist. Not all square watches look good on my wrist. The Monaco does not for some reason. The Santos does. The Reversal's not a square watch; it's a rectangular watch, but that looks really good on my wrist. So I'm excited to actually try out one of these and really see how it goes. Jubilee is new. Okay, so the Jubilee is new one. Okay, cool. Fella, anyone who comments on price is clueless. The price is irrelevant. It's the supply at the price point that matters. And I agree with that. I think that, $42,000 US dollars as a retail price is probably not the price we are all going to pay. Unless you have some form of a connection or you are a VIP or you have a good purchase history, which a lot of people, there are a lot of people in our community that do. You probably will have to pay gray market. I saw one on Moda, actually. I saw Cubitus at Moda, and I think it was like 152,000 Der Stiefel. So that's what, like almost 4x retail right now. But granted, it's the first couple, right? So it'll come down. I still believe this watch will hover. It could. I mean, look, it really depends. The 5711 is hovering what 100, look like at 100 or just slightly below, I guess. Like the white dials in the 80s. So I mean, it could be comparable. It could be around that price range. At least double retail is what I'm thinking at the very least. All right, guys. So that's Cubitus talk. I wanted to kind of shift here from Cubitus talk. I know we've talked Cubitus to death here. I want to talk about one of my favorite complications here, and this is the annual calendar. Now, I had a fascinating conversation with a collector who was I mean, you guys will all know it's fucking Higgy, because it's gonna kind of give it away here on this collector. Higgy was basically calling out. He was talking about how Patek hasn't innovated anything. Patek hasn't innovated anything. These guys are the guys that invented the perpetual counter and stuff like that. And then I challenged him back and I said, name me a complication that Lange or any other brand, and I'm going to challenge it as any other brand, has created in the last 30 years that is more influential than the annual calendar. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys. I do have an annual calendar up on here on the screen. It's 5396. I'm going to show you guys the original or the first annual calendar ever created. Was the Patek Philippe. That was the 5035. Let me see if I can find us a good 5035. I'm going to pull up a Hodinky article here. This is the Patek Philippe 5035 annual calendar. Okay, so this was the original annual calendar created in, I believe, 1996. Okay, so when we have and the reason why I say, to me, this is the most one of this is the most influential complication in the past 30 years. Is, I say, well, us look at Lange, right? They come out with the triple split, the double split, and all these other things, right? Like, very few people are adopting the triple split. But when you think of the annual calendar, look at it came out in 1996. Look at the impact it's had on other brands, right? One of many of the punchers' favorite Rolex is the Rolex Sky Dweller. It's an annual calendar. It wouldn't exist if Patek Philippe hadn't invented the annual calendar, or the 5035, in 1996. So you can name almost every brand out there has an annual calendar. Lange has an annual calendar. Omega has an annual calendar. Fucking Rolex, that doesn't make any complications, or very few complications, has an annual calendar. You can name numerous brands that have that have adopted the annual calendar as a complication in their range. I challenge anybody in the chat to name me a complication that's been created in the last 30 years that has been as widely adopted as the annual calendar. Challenging everybody. Please type your answers in the chat. Happy to debate it, but I kind of checkmated Higgy there, because Higgy was like, "Whoa, yeah, okay." So, Crazy Watch. The annual calendar is really one token of the DNA of. I don't know if he's writing more. Very Rice Nautilus. We got Patek Chris. The annual calendar had a patent over it for 10 years' time, which gave competitors time to develop one, at which time Patek Philippe once again set the bar by coupling the annual calendar with a chronograph. Yep, good point. Interesting enough, Patek Chris, the perpetual calendar. When Patek Philippe came up with the perpetual calendar, I believe it was AP that probably came out with the second, and it was about 30 years after Patek had made the first perpetual calendar wristwatch. So they were the only game in town for about 30 years. All right, America. I asked Stern why they wouldn't make a quadruple split chronograph, and he said, "We don't know how. We don't have the technology." America, look, man, I'm so brokenhearted that you did not get the. I think you were looking originally at the double split, but then you consider the triple split, or maybe you got that backwards. But yeah, man, look, cool watches, cool complications, but to me, annual calendar is the most influential. And look, it is also, and I'm also going to kind of get into, like, it's a bit of an overlooked complication. Um, it's not really loved by Patek collectors, and for everybody to understand why the annual calendar was created by Patek Philippe. It's not like they were just like, wow, we'll just make another fucking, let's just come up with a random idea to make, whatever. You're off of the triple split, okay. Patek Philippe, at the time prior to the annual calendar coming out, you basically could buy an entry level non-complicated watch. I believe at the time it was the 3919. We're talking about the 80s, around the time of this 3940 and the 3919, the Calatrava came out, or were out. So the 3919 is about a $9,000 at the time in the 80s / early 90s, a $9,000 watch, basic, simple dress watch in gold. And then you had the 3940, which is the perpetual calendar. Diego, if you're listening, this is the watch I told you to buy. 3940 perpetual calendar. That was 45,000, right? So you got this big jump in price between $9,000 and $45,000. And there were, Patek Philippe's collecting base, or buyers, really were asking for something that, really wanted something kind of a step. They wanted a bit of a step to, that perpetual. So that's when the brand came out with the Patek Philippe 5035 annual calendar. For those that don't know what an annual calendar is, it's what it's, kind of the name speaks for itself. You set it, or you have to adjust it once annually, and that's the adjustment between February and March. Every other month, it'll work just fine. To me, one of the most usable complications. I've owned a 5035, and I am a big fan of the annual calendar. I think that, look, you guys all know I have a perpetual, whatever, but for me, the annual calendar is such a usable complication, such a good complication. and it's just overlooked. Like, it's not well loved, and I'm failing to understand. No, I mean, I do understand why, but I feel that this complication needs a bit more love. I think that we're not giving it the love we should, and I'm here to defend the annual calendar. I like to talk about controversial topics here, America. We don't just scroll through fucking European Watch Co. We call it as we see it here in the Archieverse. Let me answer some of these chat questions here. We got original OC Patek owner who says, I support I support Thierry Stern's comments 100%. I heard he wanted to go after the low IQ trolls, but he saw I already applied for trademark protection and went after the generic haters. All good. Yes. As a Patek Philippe owner, original OC is part of the club. We've got Russell 9 and 6. To be fair, there's a lot more cost justification creating an annual calendar module compared to doing a double/triple split. Just look at the use price of the double split. Yeah, Russ, I don't think what my point is not to compare the annual to the double or triple split. My point is there is no other complication that has come out in the last 30 years as a new complication that has been as widely adopted as the annual calendar. So when Higgins is trying to come at me saying, well, Patek's so unimaginative. They don't really do anything new. When the data graph came out, it was so fucking revolutionary. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, name me a brand that doesn't have an annual calendar. Then you tell me what has more influence. And no complication that Lange has come out with in the last 30 years has ever come close to the adoption of the annual calendar. And I'm challenging everybody in the chat to name me a complication that has come out that is that is more influential in the last 30 years. Patek Chris, what are you saying here, Artie? 10, I believe the first AP perpetual calendar was made in 1948. 5116, not mass produced, only 12 made. Yeah. I think the biggest comparison between that, because I believe Patek Chris, the first serially produced Patek perpetual calendar was the 1526, if I'm not wrong, 1526. Prior to that, they had made one. It was kind of I think it was originally like a lady's watch or something like that, and they recased it. But it was made well before. It was about 30 years gap. So that's what they mean. Not comparing serially produced, but from the first that was made. Tan's Patek Grail, Travis Coulter. I have my Grail. For me, the Grail watch was a Patek Philippe perpetual calendar. And for the longest time, if you guys hear the streams, if you go back into like streams from 2017, 2018, when I was streaming with Archie and Jin and Clyde and those guys, I was always talking about the 3940. I was telling people, guys, why are you not buying the 3940? It's like basically annual calendar money. And everybody kind of wanted the new watch, and now the 3940s, like they shot up in value. But for me, Patek Grail was the perpetual calendar. I'll show you, Travis, my Patek perpetual calendar, the one I chose, and I'll tell you why I chose it, because I think when you're asking somebody about their Grail, for me that's a pretty it usually has a bit of you should probably talk a bit about why you like this Grail. So for me, this was my Grail watch. It was the 5320 perpetual calendar. It uses the 324 movement, so big rotor, very unusual for a Patek Philippe perpetual calendar with a center seconds hands or a seconds hand, because the 5327 uses the 240 movement, so you don't get a running seconds hand on it. And for me, it's when I look at this watch, it really, why I bought this one. So Travis, my Grail was a perpetual calendar from Patek, but I chose this watch. There's a big story about this watch. It's actually, I mean, Patek doesn't really talk about it. They don't really. I don't think they really even talk about its actual design cues, inspiration, but it's the 1591. So this watch was the original. This was the first water resistant perpetual calendar from the brand. This was a piece unique. I believe actually Patek Philippe owns this watch now. ABC tells a great story about this watch. I believe this watch actually got into a family member, or somehow into his family, and it was sold at auction, and now it's owned by Patek Philippe. But it was the inspiration, and it was owned by an aristocrat in India. So Travis, I'm Indian. It spoke to me on a different level. Like, it had a connection to India. And really, obviously I could get a modern piece in the 5320 that looked almost the same. So for me, this was my grill. I've attained it. I'm very happy with it. Don't care if it goes up. Don't care if it goes down. This is a lifer in my collection. For me, if I could not own any other watch, I would be happy just keeping this watch, because this would have been the kind of the end of my journey, I would say. Everything else now is, I'm not saying my journey's over in watch collecting. I still collect watches. I still buy watches. I bought my World Time after I bought this watch. But for me, I don't have the itch, guys. Like, my boy JJ is constantly kind of like cycling watches and stuff, right? He constantly gets the itch to find something new and something exciting, right? For me, I just don't have that itch anymore. I kind of look for things I like. If something's interesting, I'll consider it and I'll buy it, just like the World Time was. But I'm not itching for, like, oh my god, I have to chase my grail and trade and trade and trade anymore. I'm pretty much there. All right, we got a lot of chats going in. Kesselowitz 5320 for the win. I knew you'd say that. Gigadwa, who's cooler, Austin Daniels or Tim Masso? I'm gonna go with Tim Masso, although I like Austin Daniels. He's a friend of mine. Russell 996 5320 is a beauty. I want to give a big shout out to Russell. When Russ heard that I bought the 5320, he actually went to the launch event of the 5320 in 2017, and he got a bit of swag from the event. And he asked me, he's like, "Hey Tan, would you like it? Would you like some of the swag that I got, because I don't own a 5320?" And yeah, he was kind of, he knew that I would appreciate it. And super nice guy. Didn't ask me to pay for it. Just maybe pay the shipping, obviously, as you would. And that's it. And just really, really generous. So I just want to give a big shout out to Russ, a super generous guy in the Archieverse, for not only helping me out, but also helping us out with the unveil of the cubitus. Aunt G, thoughts on the 5212A collectible, and will they make a gold model? It's a good question. So 5212, let me pull up a 5212 for those that don't know. We will call now the 5212 the old Kesselowitz. He doesn't own one anymore, but I like to call it the Kesselowitz because he was really stoked when he got this watch. He's referring to the weekly calendar. Collectible. Look, Angie, funnily enough, about a year ago, it was collectible. It was, people were really seeking these watches because they were steel, relatively difficult to get. They've come down a lot. I believe they're even trading under retail right now. Collectability, Angie, will all depend exactly on your second question of if they continue to make other models or other versions of the 5212. Whether they, like, for example, they came out with a 5212. I think it was like a limited edition for an Austrian jeweler. Let me pull it up here for you guys. It's an Austrian retailer. Let me just pull up what this looks like here for you guys. It's an Austrian retailer, and you can see here in the photo. I apologize if the screen is not very good, but you can see here this is a 5212. Now this 5212 is it's a limited edition. I think it's like one of like 50 pieces or 150. I don't know. It's one of those limited jeweler pieces, and it's got a unique dial. It's got a burgundy dial. The script is not the handwritten script or handwritten font. So they do have some other iteration of this watch, but I think, Angie, the answer to this question is really, if this watch remains in its own iteration, kind of like how it is right now, that's fine. And they don't make any more of them. I think in the future it probably has some collectability. It's very unique. It's very, it's very different than what they currently make, and they've ever really made, in my opinion. So it could have that quirkiness to it if it kind of stays a model like that. But it all depends if they start making other ranges of it. And so, do I think they're going to make a gold model of it? I really hope they don't, Angie, and I'll tell you why. This is a great work watch. Like, this watch is so light on the wrist. It's like my work watch. I really love this watch for work. So, yeah, I would hope it stays in steel, and I really like this watch. So if you guys if you guys are looking for a complication, and you want to buy in the $30,000 range, this is a really good one to pick. Jimmy, good Patek discussion. Give an upvote, guys. Yeah, it wasn't even meant to be a Patek discussion. It was meant to be more of a discussion around annual calendars, right? Like, for me, calendar is just I fail to. I think a lot of folks give it a bad rep. I think it just doesn't get the love that it should get, especially amongst Patek collectors. 5320 is a beaut. Consider trading my two dress. Yeah, man, they're actually not that expensive anymore. Like, I mean, retail for the 5320 was probably about 100,000 US. you can pick these up for like mid 50s, I think right now, mid to high 50s, I would say. So not really like, if you got two Daytonas or something, you could probably buy this, right? Like you could just trade it in for one of those. So it's not a overly expensive watch. I think it's at a pretty good price point right now. I think Patek complications and grand complications are really good buying on the market right now. So don't sleep, guys. If you guys like this kind of stuff, like don't sleep because, like I said, with the 3940, I kept spruiking the 3940. Nobody listened, and those fucking watches went up. Bear says he's targeting a 5212. Bear, it's really difficult. I know you only buy Canadian watches. It is like very very difficult. I haven't seen other ones for sale in Canada. I haven't seen too many for sale. There is a punter in our chat. He hasn't been around in a while. His name is like 11 or E11E and whatever. He has one in Canada. I said to him, I said, look, if you're trying to sell it at some point, just let me know because I would buy it because if it's in Canada. But yeah, it's not that easy to find. Jay Sykes, my grail is a fake cubitus named Replicus. There we go. Frank B. Archie says Patek needs to be in precious metal. No, I think he would. I don't think he would. I don't think Archie would necessarily stick. I don't think he would say that steel Pateks are not good because steel Pateks are actually sometimes more valuable than, or often are more valuable, than precious metal. They often command a premium because they are inherently rare. The brand doesn't make that much steel. But interestingly enough, when the Cubitus came out, in the interview, Stern said that now, so they make 70 to 72,000 watches a year. 40% of those watches are going to be from the Aquanaut, Cubitus, and Nautilus lineup. 40%. So that's a big stat, guys. 40% are going to be in the sports lineup. I think that means that there's going to be a watch for everybody that could get their hands on one, but getting your hands on one is virtually impossible. I find steel and Patek so cool, so rare. I agree. Breaking news: new Tudor at 10. Yeah, so I saw that. This is the Tudor Harrods. I'm gonna see if I can find this new Tudor, new limited edition Tudor Harrods. Honestly, I fucking think this watch sucks. I can see if I can find a. Yeah, here we go. It's funny how Luxury Bazaar just constantly posts all these leaks and stuff like that. All right, so here we go. We've got this potentially leaked new Tudor Harrods. I think this actually looks like trash. Like what's up with this like two-tone bezel and kind of like capped crown, but like a steel braid? Like what the fuck? Like we're talking about Harrods here, guys. Like this is supposed to be an upscale department store in the UK, and they're flicking fucking some shitty. Okay, so it's gold. Good. If it's gold, even better. But still looks like crap because you're looking at two tones here that like the bracelet's not even a two tone from what I can see, or at least doesn't have the two tone effect of for gold. Show the case. Yeah, I would say Jay Gray. You know what? That's actually the only good part about this watch is the case back. Everything else is fucking shite. This does not look good. Like I don't know if you think this looks good. I don't know, man. More power to you. So for anybody who's ever visited Harrods, this is the Harrods store, I believe, in Knightsbridge. Very very beautiful location. I was there with my wife this year. 175 pieces. 175th anniversary. It looks like it's limited of 175 pieces. Again, I just don't. I mean, I think this is kind of better. I think the original's a little bit better. I don't know, guys. You guys tell me. Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? Tell me in the chat. I don't think this is an attractive watch. I think like if you're gonna go two tone, make the whole fucking watch two tone. Don't just make the bezel and the crown two tone. Like what the fuck, guys? Like what is this? What is this shit? Rich Mitch, Harrods make some hideous collabs. Look, they could have had a home run. Why the fuck they have a Harrods fucking like Cermet or something? Do a Harrods Cermet, I'll be impressed. Do a two tone Harrods ugly ass fucking Black Bay. Nah, man. Look, I'll tell you something about Tudor. I like Tudor. I wear Tudors. I've worn Tudors. I've never met a Tudor I didn't flick. Is all I'm going to say about Tudors. So that's my viewpoint on this watch. I think it's kind of shite. Der Stiefel, this Tudor looks like some kind of garbage that Grand Seiko would pull relating to partial two tone. There you go. We'll pull relating to partial two tone. Patek Chris, I like it. I'd melt it down and use it for something else. Yeah, that's probably the best use of it. Jay Sykes, all jokes aside, I never realized the true beauty of Patek until wearing a 5296G as a daily office watch. That's a beautiful watch, Jay Sykes. Jay Sykes, in the chat, if you could drop whether you have the sector dial or if you have just the opaline dial. I love both. Archie used to have the opaline dial, 5296. It's just obviously just the more clean dial, and then obviously they do a sector dial in that watch as well. Beautiful watch. America 5726. Patek is for wearing while you step over the unwashed rabble lying in the gutter while looking down and sneering. You say you can afford this Krampus, you hater. Look, America, like I think it's I think Terry Stern's comment has like revived your interest in the brand, has revived kind of originally America's been like, fuck this brand, like, unobtainium shit. But I think America kind of likes the attitude. So, America is he's a guy I know that would pick himself up a Nautilus because the one in his name, 5726, is an annual calendar Nautilus. So pretty cool. Jay Sykes, really cool, man. Sector dial is awesome. One thing I'll tell you, Jay Sykes, I was watching, and guys, if you guys like Patek Philippe's, check out the perpetually Patek series on the watch box. It's with Tim Mosso and Brian Govberg. And Brian, I think they were talking about Neil vintage watches, Jay Sykes, and he brought up the 5296 sector dial. And he said, you know what? This watch just really wasn't popular. I'm going to pull you guys up a I'm talking about it, so I might as well pull it up. 5296G sector dial. He said that, this watch just wasn't popular back in the day. And he was like, in today's day and age with, kind of these busier dress watches being popular, he said it's a perfect watch for today's day and age. And so I really think, Jay Sykes, the sector dial is a pretty contemporary looking watch right now, but at the time was not. So, obviously kudos to you on that one. Sick watch. I really love it. Rohit is saying, I own the 5296G sector, only Patek I own. I love it. Beautiful watch, Rohit. Great to see two guys owning this watch, a watch that was not super popular back in the day, but now is a fucking banger. So I think you guys made the right choice. I agree with Jay Sykes. Frank V10, you should do like Tim Mosso and pull up pics of us in the chat wearing our watches. Monday mailbag, guys. Monday mailbag with Tim. I'd love to do that. It's actually a great idea, Frank V. I fear, look, you guys would probably have to email me because I guarantee if you email archieluxury72@gmail.com, you're probably going to get some kind of like spam or something like that back from him saying, I can't respond to too many emails and shit. So look, that's a great idea, Frank V. I think I'm going to run with that idea, and I'm going to probably create an Archie Luxury email where you guys can email me your watches on your wrist and we can show them, because I think that's a fucking cool idea that we're going to steal from our boy, Tim Mosso. Muhammad Ali, 5 British pounds. Thank you again, Muhammad. Thank you so much. So 30,000 sports watches a year. Surely there are not 30,000 people in the watch space better than me. Look, Muhammad Ali, and again, these aren't going to be all steel, right? Because you see that like there's no more 5711. Now it's the 5811, which is in gold. 5168 in gold. 5164, I believe now in gold. So like, I think they're going to be sports watches, but they may be more precious metal sport watches. Whereas, you've got your steel still in the cubitus. The 5712 is still around. But yeah, I mean, that's a shit ton of sports watches. But look, Muhammad Ali, it really gives. I don't think that's a bad thing. I got nothing against sport watches with Patek. I think they're great. I think that I think what you're kind of hinting to here is just they will be very difficult to get. But look, we had a great chat with the director of the salon in London. And I'm very confident that you're going to hopefully get that Aquanaut that you're wanting very, very soon. So, best of luck on that one. And I will be probably the first to drop a big red super chat when I see that on your wrist. America 5726, Tudor is a tough brand. I found a Tudor 925 in my closet drawer a few months ago that I completely forgot about. Look, Tudor's a cool brand. I think that I like the vintage stuff that they do, or the vintage inspired stuff that they do. I don't ever believe it in Tudor hype. Like this, like when I was kind of like pushing back a bit on this whole cubitus is lazy and Patek is lazy, right? Like I like. Do you guys not think that Tudor Chrono Pink is not lazy? Like it's just a fucking dial color, and it's considered a quote unquote hype watch. Like, I mean, I don't get it, right? And a friend of mine who was with me at Watch Time, he was like, should I get it for an investment? I'm like, dude, are you fucking nuts? Like, no Tudor will ever be like that. Like Tudor, even when the Tudor GMT came out, it's sold for a premium. When that Tudor Red Bull came out, sold for a premium. Like this one sells for a premium. They'll all fucking sink at some point, guys. Like it's a fucking Tudor. Come on, guys, wake the fuck up. It is a fucking Tudor. I like Tudors. Don't get me wrong, but it's still a Tudor. Thoughts on Nori being the new face? Look, hey, Giotto, if Nori was a new, I like Nori, man. I'm a big fan of Capone and Noriega, so I got nothing against Nori. Noriega's cool to me. Not a joke. This actually happened. That's actually wild. If anybody wants it, I'll sell it for $1,500. Archie would probably take it for $1,500. His response is paid review rates. I don't know what that means. Latest news from Tudor and Harrods marketing. If you don't like it, it's clearly because you can't afford it. This is gonna. It's a good one day retro because I actually don't like it. I think it looks like shite. America did it get patina. You were talking silver. That's a good deal. I agree. Cubitus is bigger and uglier than Nori's teeth. America complete. Maybe OC can broker the deal. I said Mazal. Julius Caesar. Man, we got Mike the Snake's ancestor in the chat. Watches shouldn't be considered investments. Now, I think Terry Stern said he didn't mind if people viewed his watches as investments if they were wearing the watch. He says, I have a big problem with people that buy my watches as investments and hide them away. I make these watches to be worn. I don't make them to be, sitting away in the safe for a while, right? So I think there's some, I agree with that. Watches should not be. I honestly, I used to say, and I still say, if you're worried about losing money on the watch, you can't afford it. Straight up. You straight up cannot afford the watch if you're worried about losing any number of dollars on it. You can't afford it if that's what you're worried about. Because it's a luxury item. It's not a necessity. So whether it goes up or down, it doesn't matter. You bought it as, as a luxury, right? You're not buying fucking investments here, guys. These are watches, they're luxuries. So if you are worried about losing 10 grand or 5 grand on a Patek Philippe, you can't afford that watch. I'm sorry, guys. You just can't. That's just my hot take on it. You can't afford the watch. I'm of the Thierry Stern mentality here. Not to be a dick, but if you're really worried about losing a 5 to 10 grand, think about me. I'm fucking 5320. I think I paid 60, 62, 63, something like that for it, and it's already gone down to like 55. I don't give a fuck. I like this watch. I will not ever sell the watch. I love the. I don't know if I'll never sell the watch, but if I upgrade to a perpetual counter chronograph, maybe. But I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't get under my skin. It's all good. Mikey Casio GTR. Nice to see you, man. I know you're up late here in the UK. I found a nice little independent brand called Arcanaut. Contemporary looks and cool Fordite and stone dials. Yeah, there's been a lot of stone dial companies coming out. Pretty cool. I love stone dials. But yeah, guys, moving along here, I do have another topic to show you guys. I don't just show up here unprepared like Archie Luxury. So we have a Geneva auction coming up on the 9th and 10th of November. This is Phillips, Bax and Russo, as you guys all know, Phillips. This auction's coming up. It's called the Geneva Watch Auction 20 in November. Let's peruse here some of these lots, guys. Maybe I'll filter this let's do by price, high to low. Let's get straight to the bangers, the hitters, the heavy hitters here. Okay, so most expensive, the first 3 most expensive watches in this auction by estimate: 2 Pateks and 1 Rolex. Okay, anybody surprised? Anybody surprised about 2 Pateks and 1 Rolex being the top 2 most expensive watches in the auction? I'm not surprised. I'm pretty sure many of you are not surprised, but Mr. Bud, I love cubitus. I love the square case. I love Patek. Thank you so much, Mr. Bud. All right, let's have a look, guys. First one, 6264 Daytoner, Paul Newman Lemon Dial. Brown Tropical subsidiary registers. Okay, so the registers have gone a bit tropical. They're a little brownish. The Lemon Newman estimate between $930,000 and $1.8 million. What is included here? Accessories accompanied by a Rolex guarantee dated February 18th, 1974, and stamped Brunati, and 2 additional links. Okay, cool. That's just It's a pretty nice Daytoner. Also for everybody always complains, yeah, man, I only buy big watches. No motherfucker. If you ever talk about like if you ever talk about if you ever ask all these guys like so if you always start with the loaded question, America, right? Like, would you ever buy a 37 mil watch? And watch all these motherfuckers be like, nah, man, I don't wear girl size watches, man. Nah, man. Ask any one of them if they'd ever wear a Paul Newman Daytona, and every single one of those motherfuckers would. 37.5 millimeter guys, a girl's size piece. So don't believe everything fucking people tell you because there's a lot of fucking tomfoolery going around the watch space. So I'm just here to call it out, boys and girls. I'm just here to call it out. 2499 perpetual calendar chronograph. Not surprised. This is one of the most expensive ones. Virtually new old stock. Wow. A 2499 perpetual calendar chronograph. So estimate is about 580 to 1.1 million US dollars. Again, also a 37.5 millimeter watch, circa 1980. This isn't really that old of a watch, guys. Like 1980. I was born in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like, not that I could afford it when I was born, but I mean, fuck. I would have probably said invest in that money if it's worth fucking 1.1 million now. Pretty crazy. 2499, the John Lennon, I guess you'd call it the John Lennon Patek Philippe perpetual calendar chronograph. Urinator, you know this guy always shows up late. Why do you always ask dumb questions, bro? Like, what is this? Rohit says, I'd wear anything 33 mils and above. Good man, right? A man who does not mind wearing basically everything, which is cool. Eddie could fist that Paul Newman Daytona, man. 2499 makes sense. Obviously, being new old stock. I wonder if, like what other accessories are here. Accompanied by the Patek Philippe certificate of origin, so it has the full thing. Additional dial, box extract from the archives confirming the production of the watch, the subsequent sale, plastic wallet, a set of original spare parts for the perpetual calendar. In English, wow, it's got a lot of stuff. It was dated on the 13th of October, 1983, confirming that the present watch was sold to Franco Gobbi in Milan on the 27th of October, 1980. Copy of Patek Philippe's service furniture's invoice. Cool. I mean, this looks like a pretty complete set, a complete-ish set. So, pretty nice. Pretty nice. 2499. All right. The next one is the 1518. The 1518, guys, for those that don't know, is the first perpetual calendar chronograph, serially produced perpetual calendar chronograph by Patek Philippe. When I said the 1526 earlier, this was a variant very similar to it for the perpetual calendar chronograph, an exceedingly rare but important and attractive pin code. And even this in 1951, this watch was a 35 mil, right? So probably considered an oversized piece at the time. Similar estimate about 580 to 1.1 million. Looks like it's got an extract on it. Check out the movement. That's interesting. You can see a beautiful inward angle. Right here you can see an inward angle. That's pretty cool to see on a Patek. Obviously a vintage Patek, but a very cool one indeed. But yeah, not really surprised. Perpetual calendar chronograph, pretty cool. Let's keep looking down the list. All right, we've got now we've got a complicated Rolex. So we got a triple calendar with moon phase. It says an Italian calendar. One of the coolest things about Rolex moon phases is they're like one of the only brands that puts a little face on the moon. Disser as Dis asked this question once. He said, "Can you guys name a brand that like has the face on the moon?" I think he was looking for a watch like that, and I told him like this, bro. Like Rolex does it, and he thought I was. I don't know. I don't think he maybe not believed me at the time. I don't know, but Rolex definitely used to put the face on the moon, and this is your classic example of it. Yeah, I really like it too, Jay Sykes. I think it's pretty cool. Love the face moon phase. Did Patek ever moon phase with a face? I couldn't find one, Jay Sykes, of them doing it. What's cool about faces? It's just different. It's just different. No, I couldn't actually find any Pateks with the face on the moon, but yeah, maybe they have. I'm sure bespoke they could do it, but yeah, pretty cool. Again, triple calendar, Rolex 6062, circa 1953, 36 mils in diameter. Estimate between 465,000 and 930,000 US dollars. Pretty expensive. Pretty expensive. Next one's another 1518, so I won't show you guys that. So we got a London version of the Cartier crash. So this is circa 1988. I believe these were sold through Cartier London. You had to buy them there. An extremely rare and historically important yellow gold asymmetric wristwatch with certificate of authenticity. All right. Provenance. Okay, so this watch has a lot of provenance here. So it was sold at auction a number of times. So this watch was sold at Antiquarum in Tokyo, December 15th, 1989. So literally a year after this fucking guy bought this watch, he sold it at auction. Then it was sold at Christie's London in 1998. Then it was sold at Sotheby's in 2012, where it was purchased by its present owner. Pretty cool watch. I've always loved the Cartier Crash. I always thought they were pretty cool design. It's not for everybody, but yeah. I mean, when you see one of these Cartier Crashes, they always command a premium. This estimate here is between 465 and 930,000 US dollar. All right, let's go to the next one from this top down here, guys. We got another Newman, pretty cool. A Patek 530, decent. I want to look at this one. Let's look at something a little obscure, guys. So this, I believe, this is a cloisonné enamel dial. So Rolex used to do, so when we talk about cloisonné or cloisons, it's the gold wires. So you got the enamel in the middle, right? That's the coloring of the animals, and the outline of the animals are with gold wires or cloisons. So this is a cloisonné dial. Beautiful, beautiful enamel dial. It's definitely vintage Rolex. It's got a bit of Rolex DNA, but really, like, this looks like, I mean, this looks like Calatrava lugs, right? This is basically a Calatrava, that, I mean, you could basically say this is a Rolex Calatrava, in essence. Let's look at the movement here and see what they got. Manual wind movement, pretty cool. Manual wind movement. Okay, so estimate is between 698,000 and 340,000. 37 mils. Case dial and movement are signed. Very cool. But again, right, for me, what's special here is you're getting a beautiful cloisonné dial, cloisonné enamel dial, which is quite rare with Rolex. All right, on to the next. I don't know why this website keeps spiking up. On to the next, we got an Acrivia. This is a Recipe model Acrivia AK01, between 300,000 and 600,000 Swiss francs. Pretty cool. 5980. So this is a Nautilus chronograph. Decent between, I mean, it's obviously, iced out, so it's probably why it's expensive. 2438. So this is a perpetual calendar. So we saw the 2499, which is a perpetual calendar chronograph. This is a perpetual calendar only. There's no chronograph in this one. Pretty nice piece. FP pretty cool. More FP Jorns. We've got the date. Oh, this is the date rainbow. Let's look at this one, guys. The date rainbow. Circa 1983. Saad has told us there's been many rainbows in the past. It's not just the Rainbow Daytona as the only rainbow. There's been many rainbows in the past. This rainbow is estimated between 291,000 and 581,000. Circa 1983. Reference 18188. Actually, you know what? It's actually pretty cool. I don't mind this watch. It's got a, I don't know what the fuck is with this. Just the discoloration and the tarnishing on the gold, bro. Like, what in the fuck is going on here? What is going on here with what in tarnation is going on with this tarnishing? I don't know. It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. All right, let's see what else we got here on the. I found this one interesting. A Charles Frodsham. Rich Mitch, hopefully you're listening. I think this is like a British watchmaker, Charles Frodsham. $116,000 to $233,000. Pretty expensive. What else is interesting in this auction? They got a mil sub 5517 military sub. For anybody whoever watches Tim Wright, I tuned in for about 30 minutes today, and I could tell you it's some of the worst watch talk I've ever seen. Like, I really think that guy, like, this is a guy who literally, was doing writing and hiking videos that just decided to say, hey, look, this guy Archie makes a bit of money off watches, so I think I'll do the same thing. In 4 years, never really learned anything about watches. And I saw him when he was doing the Gonzo stream at one of the antique shows. I think it was last year. and he saw this watch and he said, "Wow, what a beautiful tritium sub." And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? This is a mill sub. How do you not know this?" He just saw the circular T and he's like, he just kind of put two and two together. That's the kind of like YouTuber you're watching, right? Like I'm sitting here, 100 people here, dropping knowledge, telling you guys about annual calendars, giving you hot takes on Patek Philippe's, talking about auctions. Like this is the shit you do not get elsewhere. You do not get on these any of these other channels. I'm telling you that for a fact. But 5517 military submariner, one of my favorites. It's going for an estimate of $116,000 to $233,000. Be interested to know the provenance on this watch. Extremely rare and well preserved stainless steel military wristwatch made for the British Royal Navy. 39 mils. Okay, cool. 39 mils. Case back with military numbers. So these watches, I believe, like these MOD symbols, and correct me if I'm wrong, Magpie or Jock or anybody in the chat, former military members in the UK. From what I knew, SD43 may be in the chat as well. I think he's a veteran as well from the UK. What I had heard about these watches were that you weren't actually allowed to keep them. So technically, all of these watches are stolen. They weren't really meant to be kept by the servicemen. So they were supposed to be returned. They never were, and now they've made their way onto Phillips's auction. So pretty interesting. But I kind of got into it with that Watches of Espionage guy because Watches of Espionage, really it dislikes people that buy military subs and military this, military that. He calls it like stolen valor. And I called them out. I said, well, at what point is it not stolen valor? Like, if I collect a sword from a Roman centurion that died fucking 2,000 years ago, like, as far as Watches of Espionage is concerned, only the family members of those descendants should own those watches or that memorabilia, or else it's stolen valor, right? Like, fuck out of here. Like, I don't know who that centurion's fucking descendant is. Like, what's so wrong about collecting military memorabilia? So I don't think it's stolen valor. I think it's all good. If you're a military, history buff or whatever, you want to collect this stuff, I think it's all good. Because I asked that question: at what point does it not become stolen valor? At what point can the public actually collect these? And I don't think Watches of Espionage really had a good. He didn't even fucking respond, so fuck that guy. Rohit says 5517s are dear. I'd be happy with a nice example of a 5512. 5512s are beautiful. That's the chronometer Kosk version of the 5513, which was a non-Kosk version, or the two-line subby. Essentially, I think Rohit, I think 5517s are basically like 5513s and 5514s. I think that's what they are, just with obviously a bit of modification on them. But yeah, look, it's always cool to see a mill sub hit the market. It's still pretty expensive. Myself, I wouldn't be looking into them, but I know a lot of fans. This is an interesting one. A lot of people don't. You know what's funny about the 15202 is this was a hot watch. I think it still is a hot watch. This one's in platinum. I believe. Yep, platinum. But even the steel one, I was thinking about this watch today actually, and I remember asking people like, "Hey, should I get a 15202?" And everyone's like, "Ah." Like they weren't fans of this watch, and I'm like, actually, this is the more special version of the Royal Oak. Everybody kind of beelines to the 15510 in the Royal Oak. For me, the 15202 and now the 16202, this is the jumbo. This is the actual the 16202 I would say a little bit less, but the 15202 has the exact same JLC movement that was in the I believe the reference is 5402, which is the original. No Googling here, guys. You can see I'm not Googling. 5402, which was the original reference of the Royal Oak. Tim Wright will not know that off the top of his head. Tim Wright will Google it. Wow. Oh, what? 7750. What's that? Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the show, guys. I'd like to introduce you to the Pontiff.
Hey. Hey, how are you?
You got a super chat, boss.
Super chat, Frank V, $2. Tan, bring up the 7750 Tim fucked up video with art.
I honestly don't know where that video is. Frank V. It was an old video, and I just I was watching it live when Archie asked. I think it was Archie or somebody asked Tim.
I did. I asked him.
Yeah, what do you think of the what about the 7750? And he just fucking was like, what? What's that? Like, how do you not know what a 7750 is? Like, come on, man.
Everybody knows what a 7750 is, and
Archie,
I gotta be.
Can I talk watches with you for a little bit before I go for dinner, if you don't mind?
Please, please. I love the watch talk with you. There's nothing better. Do you like the
I
city view there? What do you
I
think of the
love it.
view? The view.
Nothing
The view.
nothing. I love the view. I think Hong
This
Kong's
is not a static picture. This is a moving. Look at
moving.
this. This is. It's so. I'm leaving today. By the way, I'm on a jet plane out of here.
Are you? So the
Oh,
crowd wants to know: are you going to go to the Hong Kong show again to see Tim Masso today?
I went yesterday
Yep.
and I saw Waco.
Yeah, Waco's all right. Nothing wrong with Waco.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. They were designing a watch, and they kind of look. It was very a little bit cynical, a little bit skeptical on the industry. You know what I mean? I want to ask you, how does Christie's make all the money to pay for that building? Fuck me, Dad. You ever seen the Christie's?
Well, do you know that they take what 25% from the buyer and like also a percent? They win on both sides, man. You pay a buyer's premium, you pay a seller's premium, man. They make it on both sides.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how
yeah.
they pay for it.
Yeah,
I wanted.
it was.
I had. Go ahead.
I was just going to say. Anyhow, I was there. I had a walk around. I had a few orange juices. I thought they'd have stuff on display. There was nothing really on display. You know what I mean? There's nothing.
Well, I don't think it was that kind of a watch show, right? I think it was more
I
like
know.
like a watch
It's called
event,
the
right?
Dubai Watch Show, but it's in Hong Kong. It's kind of weird branding. You know what I mean?
Risk management. The pontiff is in Hong Kong right now. Is where he's at.
Yeah. So, but it was good to go. I went there. I had a good time, and then I've got to schedule it so that I go to a seminar where Tim Mosso is. That's what you got to do, isn't it?
So
you know what I mean?
Is Tim going to be there today? Is that what the plan is? Like,
yes, he is. Tim is there today.
So is there a chance you can make it there in the morning before like you've head out for the evening into Australia?
No, well, it's 1 o'clock. It starts.
Mm-hmm.
It's H10, isn't it? It's H10 event. It's a H10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do that because he's really the one I want to see. He's the only one I want to see is Tim. You know this, don't you?
Yeah. How was the filming situation there? Were you allowed to film? Like, what was the sentiment?
Look, there wasn't much to film. Just a bunch of guys watching a presentation.
I see.
There's a lot of cronies there. I didn't really feel welcome. You know what I mean? It's a lot
like
of
like a bunch of Raphaels over there, or what?
Yeah. Do you know that Raphael guy much or not really?
Nah, I just know you don't like him.
Yeah, he's everything that's wrong with capitalism.
Nothing's wrong with capitalism. I love capitalism, baby. We're not Marxists
but
here.
it's not perfect. It's not perfect.
Nothing is perfect. Nobody is perfect. Nothing is perfect.
Nothing is perfect. Look at communism. Okay.
Talk to me. I wanted to talk to you a bit about watches here, Archie. So I had a topic earlier, and I was telling the chat. I was saying, name me. I'm going to ask you this question. Name me a complication that was invented in the last 30 years that is more widely adopted, aka more influential, than the annual calendar.
Well, that is it, man. That is it. The annual calendar. What is going to happen in the next 30 years is the weekly calendar.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the weekly will ever be that popular, but
it's still an amazing idea, isn't it?
So I kind of gave the chat a bit of the history, right? So
yeah.
Around the let's say late 80s, early 90s, Patek's range is you start off at the 3919, which is about $9,000 US, and your next jump up is the 3940, which is $45,000, right? And there's just nothing in between. So why don't you tell us? In 1996, they came out with a watch that was $19,000. With the annual counter. Why don't you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So basically, it's that middle ground. It's that aspirational douchebag buyer. That's what they wanted to snag, because the problem is a lot of those douchebags, they were spending money at other companies, so they wanted to protect it. They wanted to get their share of the cake. They wanted their share of the birthday cake. So what did they do? What do they do? It's very simple. They brought out an annual calendar. Now, the interesting thing with the annual calendar is it's got more parts than a perpetual calendar. Did you know that?
That's right. That's one thing I learned from you.
And Terry Stern said it costs just as much to make an annual as a perpetual.
Yes, he did. I remember that. Yes.
And it's hard to know. It's but I think the annual, in some ways, it's a fantastic complication. Because let's face it, watch people. Do you really keep a watch continually wound all year round? Like watch people don't have. People who buy an annual calendar, that's not their only watch, is it?
It's not, but I really think,
you know what I mean?
I believe it is one of the most usable complications for anybody, any watch collector. I don't know if you disagree. I just find it such a usable complication that it really can't be beat in my opinion. By the way, we're getting I got a live photo from OC from LA, so I'm gonna share it with you. I'm gonna share I think this is my WhatsApp, so no worried about doxing. So this is a live view of the same watch, the annual calendar. You got OC here at the kind of taking photos at the Patek AD showing a annual to his annual right there. What do you think of this?
I want to ask you something. Okay? Because one thing about you is you are Lambo man, right? You are larger than life and flamboyant as fuck, okay? But one thing about you is you've always been a value man.
Yep, absolutely.
I want to ask you this. I really adore OC's it's a 5396 annual calendar. It's just a magnificent reference. The only question I have to you is, you can buy a second-hand 5396, okay, without the blue diamond dial. Okay, I grant you that, for half the money.
I will show you my favorite 5396. I love OCs, don't get me wrong. Mine is a 5396G. You've seen this before. One of your punters wore this to a.
You actually like the grey dial because that is.
I see. You know what's funny is you knew it right away. You knew exactly what I was talking about right before I even told you what it was. So Archie, why don't you hate on this watch while I pull it up?
Well, I don't hate on this watch. It's basically it's white gold with a grey dial, and you can get it with Breguet numerals. My favorite 5396 is rose gold, just before plain creamy white dial.
The reason I like this is, the Breguet numerals are always special on a Patek Philippe, right? So the annual calendar.
The funny thing is, for the price of those Breguet numerals, the premium that it charges, you could get a Breguet Type 21 like mine in rose gold for the premium of the numerals. Did you know that?
You know what's funny? The Breguet president said to me, on camera, by the way, on the Archie Luxury live stream, he said, "So you're going to trade your Patek for one of our Breguets, right?" Like that's what he said to me. Because he look, and they showed me a beautiful, I think it was a Breguet Classique, blue enamel dial, Breguet hands, Breguet numerals, coin edge, finishing on the case. Just in platinum, beautiful watch. It has screw locks. The only thing I didn't like, Archie, was it sat very flat on the wrist, which like our 5196 does, and it's good when you're wearing a dress like a dress shirt because it looks pretty clean. But when you're not, it just I don't like a watch that sits too flat. I don't know about you. Do you like a watch that sits flat, or do you want a bit of curvature, a bit of presence on the wrist? I would say.
Look, I got to be totally honest with you. I get what you're saying. I actually like chunky monkeys. You know that I like chunky fucking overweight monkeys on my wrist.
Chunky overweight monkeys.
Yes, because I really find, I got to tell you something. The Type 21, it's considered fat, okay? Like that, I don't know if you know the history of that watch. That watch came out when watch came in to Breguet, right? And they and basically they wanted to modernize the Type 20 because it was a little bit small and da. So they brought out the Type 21, and it's thick. It's so thick you could use it as bulletproof shielding. It's so thick. You know what I mean? It's just
I actually loved it when I got to wear it in
mm,
London.
mm, mm.
I felt this is exactly how you described it. It's a hockey puck on the wrist, and often,
Hockey puck.
and I'll give you an example. Mr. Zoso, when he bought, so Mr. Zoso, as you know, is very fortunate to own a New York edition World Time, the 5230 New York edition. And I know you hate it because of Raphael, but we love it because of Mr. Zoso. Okay, so
Yeah,
when Zoso got it, he messaged me. He's like, Tan, like, it's just not that heavy on the wrist because Zoso's coming from Rolex, right? He's coming from wearing gold watches from Rolex.
yeah,
And I told Zoso, I said, look, Patek dress watches are not meant to feel like bricks, right? They're meant to feel
no,
good, that you can feel the gold, but they're not meant to feel like really, strong or heavy on the wrist. When I wore your Breguet, I was like, holy fuck, you can feel that watch. Like that is,
yes,
it actually, in a good way, right? It felt pretty hefty. So I really enjoyed that. I think it's a great watch. It's one of your watches I actually do like. I don't like the JLC, but I
yes.
do like the Breguet.
You don't like the JLC. We've got to work on that, don't we?
Look, I think that's a sinking ship. I think look, Tim Mosso, I'm pretty sure today will tell you he likes it if you do ask him.
Yes.
Jin Tingler likes it. I know there's about the only two people I know that say they like it. Maybe Don Haynes. I'm not sure, but very few people. I would say, look, keep the Breguet. I think the Breguet is sick. I wanted to, just before we get into just more of
Yes.
the annual calendar talk, I just want to bring up all the super chats that happened before you joined the stream. Maybe you can read them out just for the people. Like, I'm not the celebrity here, even though some of them are addressed to me. But I think it's still nice if you read them. So I'll just pull them up one by one. Okay. So
Sure,
here's
sure,
the
sure,
first,
sure,
here's the
sure.
first one here for you, Archie. Why don't you go ahead and read it out?
Yep, here we go for Muhammad Ali, £5. He's from the UK. I met him. I hope you detailed that car of yours. He's got an F32. Tan, will you get the first cubitus in Canada?
Wasn't a question. It was a statement. He said Tan will get the fuse
We'll
first.
get the first
I hope so, man. I hope so. Then we got Bezels.
bezels, $2. There is something wrong if no one is talking.
All right. Then you have the man you de-wrenched yesterday.
We've got America 5726, which is a great reference. That's the Nautilus annual calendar.
Yep.
$10. Such great messaging and PR from here from leadership. Your POR point of reference, and you will never own a Patek, you haters. Suck on des bisses.
Suck on these bitches. Suck on these bitches.
Suck on these bitches. Luxury, old money, oozing class, distinguished.
Now, do you agree with this? So I basically I talked about the comment that Thierry Stern made, and I said, look, was it the smartest move? Not really, but there's a lot of truth to what he said. I believe so. I think you believe so. Like, most of the people that are hating on the Cubitus never owned a Patek and probably never will. I think it's a factual statement. He believes his customer base will buy it, which, CB, myself, Fella, Russell 996, we all are Patek owners, and we all think we would buy the Cubitus. So I think Thierry Stern's got it right. I think he's really got it right. And we're just having a bit of fun with calling out people on the hate.
No, I got to tell you, it's an interesting statement. Look, I got to be honest with you. I don't think, let me tell you this, okay? It's like when Mercedes-Benz or BMW brings out a new model. I always hate it to start with. That's just my first reaction because I'm a purist, right? But then you think about it, and then you look at it again, and then before you know it, you've really fallen in love with it. And let's face it, what Terry Stone said many years ago was he didn't want to become a one-trick pony like Audemars Piguet. See, Piguet has only got the Royal Oak. It's a one-trick pony.
Yep.
And the problem is they abandoned so many traditional lines. Remember, they had dress watches.
The Jules Audemars.
The Jules Audemars was an absolute. You can buy those secondhand so cheap. I was trying to talk Marquis into it. I've tried to talk Hoff into it. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, Hoff would make sense because he's an AP fanboy.
And remember, the 3940, they had that perpetual calendar, which was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. Remember the Quantitine, perpetual Quantitine AP, which was a competition to the 3940 for a fraction of the price secondhand. Brand new, they were similar money.
Yeah, so Higgins and I talked about this. Like AP has a pretty
By the way,
they
do you know what AP's weak spot is?
well, they're a one-trick pony. That's a weak spot.
If you look into their world time type travel time watches, they don't really have. They never really did that well. They never did that sphere.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
AP, interestingly enough, AP has a really long history with the perpetual calendar. They actually were the first to put the leap year indicator on the perpetual calendar before Patek Philippe. Actually, the leap year indicator was a world
It's
first.
amazing stuff, you know.
Let's continue reading these super chats because we got another member chat that came in after this. So let's just go through these.
Okay.
You're on the next. I pull up the next one here for you.
We got next one here. We got America $10. American 5726 $10. Tan, please keep the pause and losers away from the brand. Do not enter your homeless and pathetic ramble. How dare you? The new coiturus is unparalleled.
All right, Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali, $5. So 30,000 sports watches a year. Surely they are not 30,000 people in the watch world better than me.
So the story there is Muhammad Ali is he's trying to get an Aquanaut from his AD, and we gave him a bit of help. Well,
Muhammad Ali, impossible. Come on, man.
He's
you got to know your place in life. Can I tell you this? One of the big hindrances is people who don't know their position. Okay, right? Let's be honest, Tan. I'll never have a Lamborghini. Okay, just not going to happen. Okay.
You could get a Gallardo, maybe.
Yeah, I could possibly afford one, but then first e-tronic service, I'm dead in the water.
Yeah, I think when you have to fucking fix your transmission and your clutch, right? Like that'll be next when your clutch goes. That's gonna be a pricey. And they go. I think every
20,000 kilometers.
Yeah, like 20,000. Like it's really low amount. We had Frank V, $2, and then we got the new member check.
Frank V, fan, Tan, bring up the 7750 Timmy fuck up with Arch video. I'll see if I can find it in the meantime.
And then this is the new one.
Original OC member for 16 months. Cheers to Paul and Tan from California.
All right. So, no, that was just me pulling something up. When you're talking value shopping, though, right? Like the 5396 isn't the value shopper in the Patek range for annuals, right? I know what you're going to say. So, which metal of the watch I know you're thinking should I bring up? You tell me the metal color, and I'll bring it up.
Look, I gotta be totally.
Rose gold. This would be, I would say, I'm gonna pull it up here for you guys. This is really, if you're talking about value shopping, if you're talking about what Archie Luxury would get, it's a bit of a sunny picture, but I'll pull it up anyways. It's kind of what Archie Luxury would get in rose gold. It would be this watch right here. Do you disagree, Archie Luxury, on this one?
5146, love it.
Was that where you were thinking when you're thinking of like value shopping in the annual calendar lineup?
Well, I got to tell you, the thing is, yeah, that's value. I think they're value, and I think they're beautiful. I don't think it's an ugly watch. Do you?
I would say,
my friend has that watch on a gold bracelet.
I love it, by the way, on the gold bracelet. I saw it. That's Dave, right? Dave has it, right?
Yeah, Dave.
I've seen. Yeah.
That's his favorite watch.
If you have a picture of it, feel free to share it. Dave, if you're listening, I love that watch. I've seen a stream where Dave was wearing it. Either that or he brought it to your studio that day when he was over.
Oh,
fucking nice watch, man.
It is. It's beyond nice. Okay.
The reason why I would say for me, I would be very, very pleased to see you buy this watch is this is really the evolution of the 5035. And
it's the perfect one. It's the perfect one because I'm sorry to say this to you, okay?
Break it to me. Give it to me raw here.
The 5035 was too small. It is too small.
Come on, man. 37 mils. 37.
But it wears smaller. It wears smaller because it's got a 19 mil strap.
Exactly.
It's got it's not a concave. The bezel is it's in. It's the reverse. They use some design tricks to make it smaller. They wanted it to be 36 mil, like a 3940. And I got to be honest with you. You know, one thing that's interesting with these annuals is, Tan,
Tell me.
very few perpetuals have a second hand, don't they? From Patek.
That's right. Only like the 5320, I think, does. I
Yeah,
think
because
they.
I got to tell you, I really love the second hand. You know what I'm saying? To second hand.
The center second hand. The instantaneous perpetual counter, the unibrow has a small seconds. I don't think the 5327 has any seconds, and obviously the
No,
5320. Yeah, 5320 is the center seconds.
exactly.
You got a member chat from John Galt, who I believe is thinking the exact same thing I'm thinking.
5146 is the hotter older sister to the 5035. You
And this is for
betcha.
me why, Archie, I think you should get this watch, because when you had, your 5035, I remember watching your videos and you'd be like, man, you got to have the three eyes, man. You got to have the three eyes. And for those that don't know the three eyes, he's referring to obviously the subdials. And
Yeah.
if you're really looking at three eye variants in the new annual calendars, I mean, the 5205 isn't a three eye, and neither is the 5396. It's only the 5146 that kept this design cue from the
Yeah.
5035. Right. So for me, it's like, in the evolution of your channel, it's cool it would be cool to see you pick this up, but it could just be equally cool to see you pick up a 5396, because those are also fucking nice. Between the two, which is the most likely that you would pick up?
Oh, look, I got to tell you, I think the 5146 is slightly cheaper, slightly older. And I also think they're slightly more traditional, which is what I like. You know what I mean? Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pair the same era of the 5130 world time with an annual from that same era, that same ethos. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Let's pivot away from Patek Philippe a little bit, Archie. A new Tudor has been released, a new Harrods edition.
A new
Uh,
Tudor? You're joking.
well, a new Harrods edition Tudor.
Why?
You haven't seen it yet, have you?
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
Okay, so we're gonna get your hot take. I want 1 minute uncut Archie luxury first impressions. I'm not going to tell you anything about this watch, just first impressions. All I'm going to tell you is the
Okay.
new version of the Tudor Black Bay Harrods. Okay, so 1 minute uninterrupted. You tell me what you think.
Yeah. Okay, I haven't seen it. You going to bring it up?
It's on the screen.
No, that's the Patek.
No.
Holy shit. I love it. Look at this. So it's got a Jubilee bracelet, green, and it's a two-tone. It's two-tone. They've got the gold bezel and the gold crown. I got to tell you, this is the new Harrods edition.
New Harrods edition. I'll show you the case
Oh,
back. Everybody loves the case back.
yeah,
I'm going to show you the
yeah.
case back here in a second. Here's the case back right here.
By the way, I got a cool story to tell you from I Am Watch Singapore in a minute, whenever you're ready.
Okay, yeah, let's just finish this segment, and then we'll go into I am Singapore. So on the case back, you can see obviously the Harrods flagship in
Oh,
the Knightsbridge Harrods flagship, and then 175th anniversary. Looks like it's a limited edition of 175.
yes.
So just first impressions, your thoughts are you like it?
I love it. Don't like it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Love it, guys. I hated it. I thought it looked like shit. You don't really see two tone in the bracelet. It's kind of meh. I didn't.
No, no. It's I think it's so this is the new Harrods edition.
Yeah, it's the leak of the new Harrods edition. I don't know if it's been officially released, but
Is that green the same green as the Harrods green? I thought it was more green, no?
it's a render, right? So it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Big Tony's saying should have had a green bezel. I kind of agree. Yeah, with no two tone, the bracelet with no two tone. It's like, what the fuck, man? Okay, so why don't you tell us the I Am Singapore bit of goss that you have? Tell us about some of the
Okay,
goss.
so my good friend Dave, the super collector, he went to I Am Watch in Singapore, right?
Yep.
And as you do, he went there, and he had a great time. By the way, do you want to know what he wore?
Of course, I do.
just
Dave's always got good taste in watches.
I'm gonna
When
get
it's
in
his
trouble.
watches, when it's his
He
watches,
told me not. He told me
come
not
on.
to.
Look,
He told me
Dave's
not
okay.
to.
No. Dave would know if it's me. Dave would say, "Do it. Show me." What's
Okay,
up, Mikey?
so this is what he wore. Okay, it's fairly rare watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a Patek. Okay, it's a Lange. That's what he wore.
Chronograph.
Okay, so
Double split.
not just a chronograph, a double split.
Oof. We were talking about double splits earlier, Archie. We were me and Mariko. Mariko was offered a triple split, and he turned it down. Wow. Is Dave going to sell you this one after he's done with it? Because he should.
Okay, so this watch here, right? Let me tell you the story, right? So, anyhow, he went to Iron Watch, which Iron Watch, they had a whole stack of. I asked him if he could get me some sneak photos of the new cubitus.
Yep.
But he reckons he saw it, but he wasn't allowed to photograph it. Can you believe that?
That's surprising.
Why is that?
Well, they're already Archie, they're already for sale, right? Like, I mean, Russell 996 already has one. Like, so they shouldn't be like not letting him photograph the watch.
Anyhow, I'm just telling you the story. Right?
Mikey's joined us here. Mikey, what do you think?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm fine. Thanks.
I want to ask Mike a question. Mikey, what do you think of this double split chronograph from Lange? Is it kind of your style, or is it a bit like, like for example, I don't like the Roman numerals personally, but like, what do you think of this watch, Mikey?
I'm
just based off of looks. Not about anything about the technicality. Just do you like it or do you hate it?
I like it. It's got a lot going on. I like the contrast. The kind of not panda, but black and white between the dial and the subdials, and I really like the hands. And I'm assuming there's loom in those hands. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter to me if there was or wasn't. Maybe if they were enamel or something, that'd be even cooler because they're the big fat hands. And the shape of the case is real classic and smooth and rounded. And the buttons, same attention to detail. Yeah, I like this watch. And I like. What's the subdial up above? Is that
It's up down. It's the up down. It's the power reserve.
Oh, power reserve, beautiful. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Anyhow, let me just tell you the story, right?
Sure.
Dave wore this to IM Watch.
It's a stunning watch. I mean, that like honestly, Archie, that is the watch to wear. So yeah,
everyone knew where it came from. They knew where it was from. This guy, you go to a watch event, and then someone starts saying, "Hey, I want to buy your watch. I want to buy your watch."
Yep.
Okay. Have you ever had that? It shits you off. Do you go to car events and say, "I want to buy your car. I want to buy your car"?
Actually, I get that a lot. Actually, you'd be surprised. I do get that a lot, mostly from guys that are like dealers and stuff. But yeah, for sure.
Lowballers, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they're like, "I want to buy your car," and I'm like, "Well, okay, what's your offer?" And they're like, "Well, no, we got to like put it up for auction and do." I said, "Fuck off!" Like, I'm not gonna sell it to you for wholesale. Get fucked. Like, you came to me to ask me to buy my car. Like, I didn't come to you. So
I just listed my car and I contacted a couple of those guys that advertise. I buy your car, biggest dollar, and he goes, "This is an exotic car buyer."
Mikey, why don't you just post it on Bring a Trailer?
I don't know. I don't want to go through the whole auction process there.
But just set a reserve, right? Put a reserve on your car, so you don't have to worry about it.
I may go there. Yeah. But it's funny. It's just they just go straight for the jugular. I mean, he comes in like at half what you're asking, and you're just like, what? Like, what did you say? And they're just they're out there gleaning the bottom end of the desperate people, and nabbing up these super deals, and so Yeah, it's just the opposite of your problem.
Anyhow, let me tell you the story. Okay, sorry, we got
Oh, just one
sidetracked there.
second. Just we got one comment here from Russell996. This is a good comment, Archie, because you know your chronographs. He says the split button is in the wrong place. The 5370 split button in the crown makes much more sense when you do split. I'm going to pull up a 5370 here for Russ because to me, that is a great split seconds chronograph. Archie, you obviously know the 5370.
Well, I agree with you. I like that the way the 5370 does it. That
in the crown. You can see the button in the crown.
That's such a clever. And it lets people know it's a double split because most people have a bit of knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, do you realize? Can I tell you this, Tan the man?
Give me the drum.
With my breguet, I can almost pull my breguet off as a double split to novices, can't I?
Yeah, you showed me the trick when I was in London. You're like, that was the first thing you showed me. I thought it was actually pretty cool. We do have a super chat here, Archie, before you get to your story here.
I'll just put the camera back on to me for a little bit. We'll put the view on a bit later. We got a super chat. Andreas, $5. Pat, this what I adore. Finally, you and Arch bouncing off each other without 10 million super chats. Just make one super chat for $500 once you go to dinner.
They like the convo between you and I, but I like the solo stream.
Anyhow,
I like to do the pregame, Archie.
Story. So Dave went to the thing. This guy says, "Hey, I want to buy your watch. I want to buy your watch." He goes, "It's not for sale. I just bought it. It's not for sale." He goes, "I want to buy your watch. I want to buy your watch." He goes, so Dave says, "I would only sell it if you made me a ridiculous offer."
Of course.
There's a guy who's for sale in this world.
Of course.
And Dave says, "Look, I'd only sell it if you gave me ridiculous money."
And did they give him ridiculous money or what? Or did he lowball?
Listen to this, right? So this is a double split chronograph, right?
Mm-hmm.
He offered 50 sing.
I don't even know what that is in US dollars.
It's actually 60 Aussie. Worked out to 60. You want US or Canadian?
US.
40 grand.
Fuck out of here, 40 grand. I'll buy it from Dave. I'll buy it from Dave for 40 grand.
I paid far. Dave said, I paid. He said, I'll take two. Where do I get this from? Where do
I get it from? I would take two right now.
I said, that's just ridiculous. You can't even. I said to Dave, you can't even get an 1815 chronograph for that, can you? Or that's what they are. For a poor condition, no papers.
Yeah, 1815 chronographs aren't that cheap, man. They're actually if you want
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're not that cheap, but you're right. Like, yeah, an 1815 is probably around that price. Yeah,
they're an amazing watch.
I mean, datagraphs you're looking at like 70s, like high 60s, low 70s for like the Gen 1s. So I mean, that's a datagraph, So if you're tell Dave if he's selling for 40, I'm buying. I'll send him the wire right now.
Where did these idiots come off? But like they're in Singapore. They're at it's an hourglass event that I am watch.
Yeah.
And where do they get off the truck for those crazy prices? Where do they come off that?
Honestly, man, I have no idea. Like, everyone wants a deal and thinks people don't know what they're talking about. But like when you're wearing a double split, like I don't think I'd be lowballing that guy. Personally. Do you want to look at I was looking at some of these auctions, Archie. It's an auction coming up in Geneva with Philips. Mm-hmm. This one caught my eye as something Archie Luxury may like. It's a Cartier. I don't know if it's a crash or it looks like a crash. Highly rare and attractive enameled and diamond set asymmetrical wristwatch. Certificate presentation box number 12 of limited edition, 50 pieces. Estimate is going to go for between $116,000 and $233,000. It's called the Crash Tigre, Archie. The Crash Tigre. What do you think of the Crash Tigre here?
Crash Tiger. Oh.
I mean, you love the Panther.
What is this? Is this a men's watch or a lady?
It's a Crash, right? So Crash is unisex.
I absolutely love it.
AC3, what are your thoughts? Mikey loves it. I'm going to reserve my thoughts last.
I think I'd take the double split instead of this. What do you reckon?
I mean, look, I know Bear Clooney's probably listening. Bear and I are on a mission to get you back into Cartier. We feel it was like, it was part of the heart and soul of the channel. Look, to me, I thought you would like this. I thought this is like kind of a feminine watch. You kind of like those obscure fucking weird Cartiers, and Cartier crashes are always hot. Personally speaking, I just go with the standard crash. It's a little too blingy for me. It's not a bad watch. It's a nice watch, but it's a little too blingy. They're selling a Charles Frodgem for like 200,000 Swiss francs. An old TGV watch. This auction was decent. They had an enamel dial Rolex. I'll show it to you. Here we go. The Neptune. It's called the Rolex Neptune Cloisonné enamel dial. What do you think of this? Does it look like a Calatrava case? Like, doesn't it look like Calatrava?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
You got Dauphine hands, Calatrava case. You got Cloisonné dial with enamel. It's a beautiful watch, but I think if you took that Rolex off, I think people would not think it's a Rolex.
No, it looks, it's an amazing watch. Fuck, 1953. I've seen this reference before.
Yep.
But the big thing with it is it is gorgeous. Would you want it? How do you feel about it? I suppose if you've got a collection, you want to cover all aspects of the Rolex history, don't you?
I can appreciate how rare this is, being a Cloisonné dial, enamel dial Rolex, but it's not for me. This design is Patek Philippe. I would buy a Patek Philippe over this.
Do you like the crown? What's the crown? What do you think of the crown on it?
The crown is interesting. I did notice that when I first saw the watch. Mikey, what do you think of this crown? So it's unusual for Rolex to have this crown, right?
Oh yeah. It's kind of a Cartier crown, or shape at least. Right?
And I like the enameling they did there. That's I think it's a Greek mythology thing they've chosen there, isn't it?
Could this this is, let's say, a departure from Rolex's normal line or type of watches that they make, a breakaway kind of, if you would. Now, is the cubitus possibly comparable to this watch, like in a company breaking into a completely new ground, to kind of start a new thing? Or
this was in the 50s, Mike. This is a vintage watch from Rolex, so it's not something. Yeah, they still do an enamel dial, but I haven't seen anything with Cloisonné in it. So, and Archie, you do have a super chat here from Feller.
Good fella, $5. Throw some super chat for Tan's quality night. It's rare to have this level of watch talk. Great show. Very entertaining. Arch, I'm ready to lowball you.
So what do you have for sale, fellas? I think he's coming to Brisbane. What do you have for sale for him?
What does he want? He's got to give me some clues.
Look, I'll tell you something about Fella, right? So Fella likes to buy all Archie luxury goods. He doesn't mind used goods. It's actually, I even told him, I said, the fact that you sent me a defective or broken briefcase makes it even funnier, right?
Yes.
Because in December, you thought the reveal was you thought it would hurt me or you thought I would be pissed off about it. But I actually found it funnier because I'm like, I actually got a fucked up Archie luxury briefcase. Even better, right? So Fella's kind of like that.
Pretty good.
He collects.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, he collects Archie memorabilia. So, if you have I know you have a Louis Vuitton box, right? You could be selling that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a box. We've got a few things we can lowball. I got that custom painted.
Is my microphone better?
Yeah, it's great, Mikey.
Thank you.
It's great. I got to tell you, we can lowball many stuff. Lowball. Why doesn't we sell him the JLC? He'll buy that, won't he?
Ooh, fella only buys good watches. He doesn't buy shitters. I mean, look, fella's like dog walking watch is like a 5270 or something. Like he walks his dog.
How many watches has he got? How many watches has he got now?
I mean, I don't know. You'd have to ask him. But I've seen him walk his dog many a time wearing that perpetual calendar chronograph. So, fella doesn't fuck around, man. He doesn't fuck around. Quality. Thank you, Mr. Bud. I appreciate that. We like to bring quality watch talk to the channel, Archie. We don't just stare at the screen and ask people to join by the sending WhatsApp invites out all day. Come on, man. Put some effort. We want to see Tim Mosso. We want to see at least a video of you with Tim Mosso saying, you know what you should do? Just if you could humor me here. If Tim would be okay with it, just say, hey, have him, you do a little selfie video with him saying, hi, you and him. Hi, this is Tim Mosso. You're on the Archie Luxury live stream channel. Thank you for, like how radio stations do it. It'd be cool because we could run it as a clip, right? On the show. And
we could run it as a clip, as a continual clip.
I don't think the 1916 company would mind that if Tim's there with you. Hey, I'm with my friend Archie.
He's a great sport.
Yeah. Actually, interestingly enough, overnight I got a message from his inner circle, a friend of mine that's also in kind of. Tim has a small WhatsApp group where Tim's in it and stuff like that. Anyway, so the person contacted me saying they saw your show last night and they were going to let Tim know that you're coming. So Tim already knows that you're coming. So you kind of have to go now. So I'm just letting you know.
Okay, no worries at all. That's bloody amazing. What do you think?
I think it's fantastic, Archie. I'm gonna look at a couple more of these pieces here before I go on the auction. You tell me what you like. I'm gonna scroll all the way to the top. We're gonna go sort price high low. Tell me where to stop on something that interests you. So we got a lemon Paul Newman Daytona on the left. We got a John Lennon 2499. This is a cool one, Archie. Virtually new old stock. 2499. We got a 1518. That's the first edition of the perpetual calendar chronograph. You tell me where you want me to stop. Original Cartier crash. This is a London version. Another 1518.
Let's have a look at that new old stock one. What the fuck is that? That's an amazing. Go back to that new old stock one. That's amazing.
Yeah, so new old stock.
It's got an 24. What's the story? Let's have a look at that.
It's got an array of accessories. It's got an extra dial. You have the full box. You have the certificate of origin. You can see your 2499 certificate of origin. You remember these boxes, Archie? I remember you had a box like this. I think 5107. Yeah. These older.
It's 1980. This is 1980 watch.
80s. Obviously, it's been serviced. It's in pristine, new old stock condition. It's from 1980, 37.5 mils. Estimate on this watch is between 580,000 and 1.1 million. I'll tell you what it includes. So accessories are accompanied by the certificate of origin, an additional box, extract from the archives, the original box, hang tag, plastic wallet, set of original spare parts, another extra dial, all this stuff. It has full service history, all this. It's a perfect example. You can't get better. It's literally a new old stock fucking 2499. Which is very, very rare. Look at that. Look how
that
crisp that is.
That much money, it should come with its own sports car.
This is the John Lennon, Mikey. This is a famous one. This is when I asked Archie, I think, what he thought was the most perfect Patek Philippe. I think this is one he named, was the 2499.
Yeah, it's a great watch, isn't it?
It is. It follows, kind of the standard platform. The kind of chrono, what I consider, the dress watch chrono platform. I like it.
Yeah, Archie made a video once, Mike, where and you should look for it. I'll try to play it on the AC3 Classics night. Archie, you did a video once where you said, you considered selling all of your luxury goods, including your watches. So his purse collection, his wife's watches, I think, his own watches. To buy a 3970, which is the updated version of this watch, so the next generation of the calendar chronograph. Why didn't you go through with it? Was the big question.
Look, the big problem is in Australia, it's hard to fucking sell anything that's not just a Tag Heuer or a Rolex. You know what I mean? It's just very difficult. It's just hard. And that's kind of how it is,
Mikey, he was literally talking about selling everything, not just his watches, all of his luxury goods. Because, the perpetual count at the time, even, it was over 100,000 Aussie. Still over 100,000 Aussie right now. It would have been a decent investment, I would say. But yeah, you didn't go through with it. You kept your collection. Obviously, I've always thought about this, Archie, of if you ever nuke the whole collection for one super watch, and we've done this, we've played this game a couple of times because you said, well, my collection's worth about 90K. What would you get at 90K, right? I think for you, if it were me thinking of if you asked me the question, Tan, what would you do for me? I would be suggesting you get a grand complication Patek Philippe for that whole 90 grand. Perpetual calendar.
Yes.
You probably can't get a perpetual calendar chronograph, but at least a perpetual calendar. You could probably get a modern one if you want, or you could get a very special 3940, like probably a platinum one, or a Gen 1 or Series 1 version of it. So white gold maybe. Yeah. So for me, I would say if you nuked your entire collection, I would say go all in. Grand complication. You're gonna say, Tan, it's not usable. I live in Australia. I'm like, look, you're 52. You're gonna be 72 at some point, 82 at some point. You're not gonna.
How long you got left? How much long have you got left?
Yeah, and look, you may not be able to read the watch, but you know for a fact you got the fucking most epic watch on your wrist. You don't need to read shit. You're wearing a fucking
Yes.
calendar chronograph. You don't need to read shit on that watch.
No, you don't. You don't.
That's
you
the
don't
way
need
I
to do anything. I
That's the
totally
way I
agree with you.
Look, that's the way I see it, Archie. I know that you would disagree. You would probably get something more usable, but that's kind of how I see it. I got to run, boys. It's dinner time. It was fun.
Hey,
2
it's
hours on the train.
Dina. 2 hours on Tan. That is a great effort. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, guys. And I'll do it for you, Archie. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the show, guys. This is the Locks Report. I am the narrative. This is an unsanctioned broadcast. All opinions in this 2 hours on Watch Talk were those of myself, the narrative, and no one else, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
See you, Tan.
What a great guy. Thank you so much, Tan. So, Mikey, how are you today? What's going on? Talk to me, baby.
Today's been a good day. Just lately, with the exception of, I fell a couple days back, tripped walking into my house. I pivoted wrong and fell flat on my back. Yeah, my shoulder's a little sore, but other than that, my days have been pretty kind of regulated and steady, which, hey, no drama, no trauma, no freaking out over anything is a great day. A day when I can just do my work, or maybe I'll go for a motorcycle ride, or maybe I'll just I'll go see my mom and hang out with her. Or I take my mom out daily, but sometimes I even just go over there and we play cribbage and cards and stuff, and I spend time with her because, I just want to spend as much time with her as I can while I have her. And so, yeah, my days have been good lately. Thank you.
Hey, that is fantastic news, man. That is just absolutely... That is great to hear from you, man. And it's always good to have you on our show. That's for sure. It's always good to have you on the show. Mikey, any buyers on the car? Any luck on the car? Because we'd like you to sell it and buy something. I reckon for you, an M2 would be cool, man. Get an M2. That'd be with tech in it. Oh.
You know what? I think when I sell it, I'm just gonna take a step back and digest everything, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. But
hey, we got a super chat just come in here. We got Pavel, $2. Mike, the 992.2 GT3 touring press car is oak green.
Ooh.
There we go.
992.
And we got a super chat. Tanzil, Patek Philippe, $50. Thanks for having me on the show. Please get some video with Tim for the channel if you can. The fans would really dig it. You betcha. We will see what we can do. We will see what we can do. That's for sure. We'll see what we can do. And no, that's... I'll see what I can do there. It's I might be cutting myself a bit short because I've got to catch a flight. I'll see how we can do. I'll see what I can wrangle. Mikey, that's interesting to hear. You would put the money into watches if you sold the car. That's a wise idea. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know
You don't know
about
about
that.
that? Oh, okay.
I probably would I'd buy at least one watch for sure. I'm gonna probably be buying a watch. I hope here around the end of the month. At some point, um, I'm expecting to be able to get a sub or something along those lines. Around maybe the beginning of next month, something like that. I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
hoping.
Um,
If everything goes as
yeah, I think
planned.
Tan's right. Have you thought about bring a trailer?
Oh, absolutely. I watch it, look at watch the shows every day and listen to what they all have to say. I'm not sure if I want to go national with it just yet. It's already been. I mean, when the previous owners were trying to sell it, I think they put it on Bring a Trailer
But
as
you've done so
well.
much work to it, Mike.
Nothing that I did work that was necessary to get it back into like being able to drive it. Like it
It had
needed.
milky oil before you got it, Mike.
It wasn't milky oil. It just a little blurb of it was at the very end, and it's to be expected on a car that's been sitting for 10 years and only driven across the shop and never taken to full temperature. It's not. I've seen it on many cars, and in any
But you've
case,
actually done all the hard work. You've driven
yeah.
it.
No, I've
You've
put an
bedded
X.
it in. It's
I,
ready for
I
somebody to take it to the next step. They put a
it
full
is.
roll cage in it. They
Yeah.
do all the
Oh,
work. That's
I'm asking quite a bit more than I paid for it.
we got a
Right
super
now.
chat here. Patek Philippe, $2. Poll update, please. That's a poll update. Let's have a look what's happening on the poll there. I'm just having a look there. Let's have a look here. Just having a look. Oh, we got someone else who's jumping on here. Who's jumping on? We got Bear Clooney. Bear Clooney's jumping on. Hello, Bear. How are you?
I was just about to say, pay attention to the super chats. Focus on the chat. Get engaged. Let's go. Let's go. 10 did a great show. You already preparing to leave early. Doesn't work like that, big boy.
I got to tell you, it's incredible to have you on, Bear. I
The
really do
birthday's over.
appreciate it.
The birthday's over. Now we work.
Birthdays.
All right.
Okay, now we work.
Why are you leaving early? What time is the flight? Who you bullshitting? Me or Panthers?
No. I'm just trying to schedule in to meet Tim Mosso. We got a super chat. Attributes of cubitus. This is the poll. Attributes of Tributus haters are as follow. Never owned a Patek, 19%. Never will own a Patek, 15%. All of the above, 66%. There we go. That's the poll results there. And we got a super chat here. This is Patek Philippe, $2. Please pull up photos on WhatsApp from Mr. Z. He is one of the coolest guys I've ever met in my life, you know?
Yeah, Mr.
And
Z is
this
awesome.
is his Patek. This is Mr. Z. He has two Patek Philippes. He's got a Patek Philippe. He's got the World Time, the New York edition. And I got to tell you, this is probably one of the most beautiful limited editions that Patek has ever done for the World Time. And if you're a New Yorker, it's especially something to be proud of.
Oh, yeah.
And look at that there.
Gorgeous.
It's got the skyline there.
I love the hands.
Absolutely beautiful. By the way, Bear, you know my friend Dave, the super collector, he went to I Am Watch Singapore.
Okay.
And he actually got lowballed on, he was wearing a Lange double split. He got lowballed by a punter at the event. Do you hate it when people say, I want to buy your watch, I want to buy your watch? And these people are just lowballers. Have you?
Actually, that never really happened to me.
How
Nobody
do you
ever
find
looked
that,
at
Bear?
my wrist and said, "I want to buy your watch." No, that actually never happened to me.
Sorry?
I said that never
Oh, you don't?
actually happened to
Okay.
me.
Do you go to many dealer events? Do you go to many dealer events?
No,
No.
no.
Okay. Okay. You're too busy.
Just never really. In Canada, there's not many dealer events.
Yeah. I've seen,
That's
YouTube videos. It looks like a bunch of hustlers. Guys just they grab a Rolex and they say, what's the number? Okay, and he runs off and he goes over to this other guy and he says, "What do you think?" And the guy, he'd say he makes like $200, and it's like a bunch
Oh
of
yeah, I
high-end
watched
watches.
that. Yeah. You're talking like on Roman Sharp on the Luxury Bazaar when they do these dealer events.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
find that so weird, man. They're like buying from each other, selling to each other. There's a
You know,
lot of fucking circle jerking there.
seemingly.
Yeah,
Yeah, and just kind of being so casual about $100,000, $300,000 watch, and making $250 or $500. They're just like, even though the size of the product is huge
exactly.
monetarily, they're just scratching out a living the same as if they're making the same $50 a watch on Seiko's, at a small event. you know
Yeah, I think
There's
all these YouTube coverages of that are full of shit. To be very honest with you, because I actually know the real dealers who do this for a living, and
Yeah,
it's a very different. And I asked a couple of friends who are dealers on their opinion of this, and they basically responded it's a fantasy land. So
it's what it looks like. It looks
yeah,
like,
they create and I can understand that. Like Roman will create this whole, they need to create some excitement or some intriguing things, and oh, the watch worth $500,000 is missing and like shit like that. Um, you know.
yeah, contrived drama.
Exactly, Mikey.
I gotta tell you something. Speaking of drama, can I tell you a story there, Bear?
Sure. Drama is always good.
So my friend, I'll show you what he wore. Okay, I don't know if you saw it before when Tan was on, but he wore this. It was a Lange split.
Okay.
It's a double split chronograph,
Okay.
flyback chronograph.
All
The
right.
guy says, I want to buy your watch. He just wouldn't, like a dog to a bone. I want to buy your watch. And Dave said, look, I'd only sell it if you made a ridiculous offer. Why would I sell it? I just bought it. I don't want to sell it.
Okay.
And the guys offered, Bear. I'll tell you what he offered. He offered about, I'll tell you what he offered, okay? Because it's pretty damn insulting. He offered 55 Canadian.
Oof.
They said, what the fuck offer is that? He said, I'll take two if you can get me a
Yeah, I'll
double
buy
split.
myself. Exactly.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? He said, you're out of your mind.
Lucas P says you're recycling a story today. Did you ever say this story? Tell this story.
No, I
before?
told Tan the story. The other thing
Oh,
is
you
that's
just,
interesting.
Okay. I see.
I wanted to share with you
Thank you.
is I really love Canada. Montreal man fined 35,000 for not declaring a luxury watch at the border.
Mm-hmm. We
So
talked about
basically,
it
he bought a
yesterday.
watch from. Now the thing is, I've done a bit of research since yesterday's view. He bought it from Luxury Bazaar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, he got
And the research
snagged.
would be you actually read the article, right?
Yeah, he got snagged. Listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
He got snagged
Mhm.
You know how he got snagged when he sent the box back? Now,
Mhm.
he actually sent it via FedEx. Now, I don't know if you know this, but FedEx are self-insurers. They are self-declarers, right?
Correct.
I dare say if he sent the watch box back via Canadian Post, he wouldn't have had any trouble.
You don't think so, eh?
I think less likely.
The only difference would be Canada Post would lose it. But maybe that's the better thing. Just lose the box. You wouldn't have to pay all these fucking fines. Holy shit.
Can
Yeah.
you now? What's probably going to happen is this is going to put him under. They don't even mention his legal bill for this because he probably has employed a solicitor, a legal guy to help him.
Right.
He probably has to sell the watch. It doesn't sell in Canada, so he sends it back to America to get out of it.
Right.
He also bought this watch at the peak of the market in 22.
So he got really screwed, eh?
It happens to all of us, don't you think? It
I
can
think so,
easily
actually.
happen.
Yeah, it
I
can
mean,
happen to
the
anyone.
funny thing is that the Canadians are
Well,
so.
actually, hang on. It cannot happen to me because I would never do that.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I'm not going to say it can happen to all of us because
You
I
wouldn't do
guarantee
that.
you that will never happen to me because I would absolutely never smuggle the watch.
No.
I told you that before. I just find it too risky, and it's the other problem with that is, they mark you. They put their information on you. So every time I'm gonna be crossing the border, I'm gonna be hustled. I don't need that shit in my life.
That's
No.
crazy, man. I mean, they don't check your watches that you're wearing when you go through like at San
Spot check.
Francisco.
They're still not doing like every single watch. But what I'm trying to say, this guy, for example, now is marked by Canadian
Oh
customs, by
yeah, no,
Canadian
he's
with
yeah.
RCMP. And you know what? Every time he crosses the border and hands his passport and they slide it through, the alert will come on. And besides the fine, besides the solicitor, besides all the shit that's happening to him now, this guy's looking for hassle on every crossing of the border. That I cross the border frequently, all the time, and for me, peace of mind that I'm clean as a whistle is extremely important. Fuck, you know what? They do. Canadians were doing at one time cross-border shopping and this and that. If I buy fucking anything, I don't really care, even if it's insignificant amount of money. I declare I have a receipt. Here it is. Tell me what you want me to pay. I don't fucking. I don't wanna save $15 to screw my life, or
Yes.
Yeah.
or any amount of money. I just don't see that as a intelligent thing to do. So somebody said yesterday, "Fuck him. He really fucked up. He fucking tried to do something illegal and he got caught."
Mm. Mm.
Not worth the risk, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, on an item like of that amount, yeah, you just got to play by the rules. I learned the hard way. California has something called a luxury tax, and when I had my airplane, I didn't know that I was supposed to pay it. And then 2 years after I had gotten rid of my airplane, I
Yeah.
was hit with 4,000 total in taxes. And I said, what's the address? And it'll be in the mail tomorrow. Thank you. And I paid it as fast as I fucking could. But yeah, figure out a way to tax everything.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it, man. That's what happens. It's a tough world. It's a tough world.
Harley
Did you
Davidson.
ever smuggle anything, Archie?
You know what? It's really the only thing I used to do is I would buy some watches in Australia, and to fund some of my trips, I would sell them. I already had them pre-sold to dealers in Hong Kong, Singapore, and Bangkok.
Why? Because they paid better?
No, basically, I'd buy. They knew a dealer friend of mine. I said, "Look, I'm coming here. Do you want to buy anything from him?" So, if the watch was 10,000,
Oh, you were just helping the dealer.
it's basically transporting the watch for them. They,
Okay.
yeah, transporting it, and in that process, you could always claim the tax back if it left the country. Now, where it's illegal is if you take the watch back into Australia because you've claimed the tax.
Correct.
You then need to pay the tax if you bring it back within a certain period of time.
Exactly.
But the problem is, this is the problem. I actually got audited for it, and I had good records. Okay, I must say, I always keep records.
Right.
But a lot of these dealers in Hong Kong and Singapore, I don't have a Singapore or a Hong Kong bank account, so they would pay you in cash. So how do you prove what you sold it? This is the, and I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was making far less than the sales tax, the GST I got back. I was making it was like a $10,000 watch. I might make $500 on it. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Because, I mean, if you're buying it from a dealer, and I'm selling it to another dealer, you know, there's never huge margin in this stuff. Right. But the problem is, I was very fortunate. I kept good records. I always kept records, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't keep the records, you're fucked, aren't you? You know what I mean? And I'll be honest with you, it's not worth doing.
So Birminghard says you invented the dirty, nasty watch flipper. The other guys just copied it. You fucking invented everything in the watch world. You're it, man. You're originator of every single thing that we are doing and talking about today.
The problem is, I tell you what the problem is that this is what I don't understand. I thought Canada and America had free trade between the two countries. No?
Yeah, they do for corporations and large.
Why doesn't that apply to individuals as well? I don't understand that. Like, you realize. Let me ask you this. Now, I'm not being nasty. I'm just being honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy, let's be honest, Canada is like Australia, which is a much smaller market than America, correct?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Now, if you buy a specialized watch, you may not be able to sell it in Canada. You may have to send it back to America.
Correct.
If
yes,
you buy, like you buy an FP Journe, or you buy a Buffoon, it's a small market for that in Canada. Okay.
Right.
So if you buy one,
and
then you
FP Journe, no, FP Journe would sell in minutes, in seconds.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying. Like anything.
No, I get your point. Let's not even go into details on the brands. But I know.
Often, what I'm trying to say is that these things here, you can't sell them in Canada. Okay, that they would be a watch that would have to go to America, right? Like, look at Clivers. He was trying to sell those rare birds. Now, the reality is they were not an Oklahoma watch. They were a New York watch or a LA watch for a specialized. Clive was trying to sell them to some idiot who wants a cheap Rolex. They're not a cheap Rolex. They're a very specialized model.
Correct. Niche. Very niche. Yeah.
And he was trying to sell it. There's no way in the world that would sell it. You know, that's why he had such a long wait, because nothing.
But on the other hand, because he's there where he is, he was also able to pick up those type of watches at a very good price, because somebody else in that place, Oklahoma or wherever the fuck he is, also has the same problem because there's not other people interested in that. So what Clive should have done, he should have fucking find a dealer or deal with somebody in New York and get a top dollar for it. Put it on consignment or something like that.
Well, that's exactly it. And I got to be honest with you, I don't understand why in Canada and places like this, you almost need like England is the same, right? If
Mhm.
I went to England, it's like me going to Canada.
Mhm.
I cannot buy a watch in Canada, right? Well, I mean, I can buy a watch. I can
You
physically
can,
do
no,
it,
no, absolutely. You just
right?
have to pay the taxes.
However,
Right.
because the tax, and the thing is, if I took it to Australia, say I bought a watch in Canada, I can get double fucked. Not only has some poor idiot in Canada paid extra taxes than the US, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I then take that watch to Australia, I am then liable for taxes in Australia on this watch. When does the taxes stop? Can I ask you that?
Fucking, I had the same feel about that, Arch. It's like a perpetual fucking. Talk about perpetual
Yeah.
calendar. There, the taxes are perpetual fucking calendar.
So
There you go,
Bear,
Ted.
Bear,
And I
in
mean, you almost
Canada,
need a
do
passport.
they?
It almost needs a passport where it says it was bought at this price, taxes were paid, then it went
Yeah,
to America or it
yeah.
went to Canada. You can see all the taxes that have gone with that watch. You see what I
Exactly.
mean?
Bear, in
Because
Canada, when you buy something, do you like in America, do you have a certain percentage of sales tax that you just pay on that item like you do in America? It varies state by state, but it's like around between 8
no,
and 10% in
they don't have
America.
they don't have different taxes for different states, do you, Bear?
No, but do
It's
they
a
have do they pay
federal
a
tax.
sales
It's a
tax?
federal
If you
tax.
buy a car or if you buy anything, do you have to then also pay the sales tax on it? Whatever percentage that might be. Is it in Canada, is it kind of the same as it is in America?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I had to text something. I apologize, guys. I was
Oh,
That's okay.
distracted.
Bear, I
Many
was asking
distractions.
you a question, Bear. I was
Go ahead.
in Canada, when you buy something, do you pay sales tax on it just like you would if you bought it in America?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
You pay two taxes where I am.
okay,
GST and sales.
okay. So once you've paid those taxes, then
Mhm.
if you wanted to f- just fly to Australia, um, aren't you
Fly to
saying
Australia and sell my watch? Yes, I can do that.
you can do that because you're all paid up, right? You
Correct.
know, you're
But then the problem is going to be about the money. How do I bring the money back? And if they wire, I have to explain to my bank what the wire is from,
okay. I
because
understand.
anything over 10,000 is reported.
Yes, yeah, I see.
So they
I
kind
mean,
of fuck you. They kind of
I'm
fuck
just trying
you
to
no matter
understand
what.
it. Yeah,
This is why I always like to buy my watches from Canada, Canadian watches. I don't even want to buy the watch. At one time, when you were buying Rolex, you could tell what AD are they're coming from. Now that's changed. So now you don't see that anymore. So you can really buy any. I was strictly asking if I would want to buy a watch. I wanted to buy a Canadian watch. And that's another funny thing. At that time, Canadian Rolex would cost more than American Rolex.
huh?
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
For
I just can't understand
because
it,
of
Bear. I thought you Canadians.
Alberta is the best province for sure when it comes to being common sense. They've been ran by more pragmatic government. With us, the left wing is liberals, the right wing is conservatives. I think in Australia, conservatives are actually the left wing, right?
100%.
So, yeah, let's change the topic because this is killing people and it's very boring. And let's talk something about the watches because this is a watch show.
We've got GB 20 Max. Have to watch out. Perth Luxury is nasty with customs. There you go. Bear, I've got to talk to you about something. I want to talk to you about an important issue.
Okay.
With your watches themselves there, Canadian, the thing is, if you sold them to America and someone then brought it back to Canada, they'd get whacked for taxes again and again and again, wouldn't they?
Again, I said to you, people are dying from this stuff. It's
Dying.
boring, man.
Okay,
It's boring.
let's move on.
Let's talk about something like new watches. Archie, what do you think about me buying Tudor again?
I like
Stay
that
away,
Tudor,
Stay away. Be careful.
Submariner that was being shown earlier. That one was stellar.
Can you bring up Archie, please, for us? Tudor monochrome 5 links.
This is the Tudor Black Bay 41 monochrome. This
5
is a
links.
5 links. It's a sexy watch. It's basically a Jubilee Submariner, Bear.
So
I'm bringing it up.
It's an interesting thing about this watch, right? From the time they released it, which was when, Archie? March, April type of thing, right?
Yeah, it's out already.
My AD has not received one of those in that configuration. He received a couple of them. He received one with rubber and one on oyster bracelet. And I simply do not like them on a rubber or oyster, this specific watch. And finally, he's getting the one in this configuration. And I can tell you that I spoke with my dealer friends, and they don't see them on the market in Canada. They're just not widely available on the market. I don't know why. I don't understand. But I like the watch. I like the aesthetics of it. I only dislike snowflakes. But the watch is thinner. It's nice. It's a META certified. It has a basically Jubilee bracelet.
Their buckles are exceptional as well.
Right. Yeah. So.
Now this. Go on.
No, that's it. Tell me your opinion.
I fucking love it. It's beautiful. It's a 41 mil. Would they do this on the 58?
I'll buy this before I buy a Rolex sub at this point.
No, this is really what seems to be the most popular Tudor that came out from the last Watches and Wonders.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
You like it,
in-house movement.
I
It's
do like
amazing watch. The thing about it is, Bear, can you just buy the bracelet but?
And do what?
There was that generic company that makes these bracelets.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, the quality is... Have you seen this bracelet? This bracelet is of equal quality.
I gave one to
Rolex.
Timely. Remember Timely Behavior?
Rolex.
That guy.
Oh, also, what you need to understand, this is not like a regular Tudor Black Bays that you had. Those are bricky. They're big. They're thick. This is very thin. This is much different how it wears on the wrist and so on. It's the thickness of. I think it's actually thinner than sub.
I love this watch.
Would you buy one, Mikey?
Yes, 100%.
Even though you know for a fact that the moment you buy it, you're losing $1,000.
Sure, probably.
No, that would not bother you. That's why, because I know.
Because I think it probably over time would probably hold its value. I don't think.
No, Tudor. Well, it will hold at a certain point. It stops, right?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, this watch you are guaranteed to lose money, and I wanted to buy it used, but there are none. They don't exist.
Well, what's their price point? Like $5,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.
Okay. Yeah, I'd still buy it.
I'll be right back.
No worries at all there. I've got to tell you, that's a fucking sexy watch. I wish it had a date but. You know what I mean?
I like the no date. Like Bear, I can tolerate the snowflake hands. Other than that, the watch is pretty flawless, pretty perfect. It's just basically a Submariner dial layout.
I
I
wish it
love
had
the
Mercedes hands,
edges.
but what do you think? You know the
I love.
Mercedes hands of the sub?
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, those would be preferred, but I love the knurled edges on the bezel here. Um,
Yeah,
they
they are
look
fucking
like
cool.
they look like they grip really well. Like you could really easily turn that bezel.
Why don't, let me ask you something. If you sold the car, you're going to put all your money into watches? Would you need
No,
another
no,
car, like a sports car? Would you go more
no.
modern instead of classic?
I might. Right now. I'm just listing it for sale or trade. If somebody
Mhm.
comes along with something
Any
that
interesting trades?
touches. One person with a Lotus has approached me.
Oh, you want to
But
trade it for another car?
well, I'm
Yeah, that's how to make
considering
money.
possibly, but this is just what people have responded with. I'm not considering anything seriously at this point. Nobody's the
What sort of Lotus?
Exige.
How old?
This is a 2014, I believe.
I don't understand. I don't understand
But
why would you trade your car? Just sell the fucking car.
yeah,
No one has
that's
any
my
money,
main
Bear. We're in a
that's my
recession,
main
Bear.
objective.
Bear, they
Man,
have no money.
first thing is just
But
sell
then
it.
don't sell it. Then just, I would not be
Yeah, but it's
trading
not
fuck all.
perfect.
I would not be considering
He's
trade.
found some faults with it. He doesn't want to own it anymore.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
No,
It's
not the case.
I don't even care if it's the case. This is my point. Uh, Getting another car is a trade. It's like I don't like when people trade watches to get the watch, and it just gets messy, and you're losing the value in the process. Just clean sale. It's always best. Archie always gives advice.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
don't trade your watch to a dealer to get another watch. Archie always says sell the watch, and then later do a deal, even if it's to a dealer. But anyway, we have a super chat.
We got a super chat. Thank you so much there. We got a super chat from Patek Philippe, $2. Which watches have FedEx pinched from you so far? I only had two date justs. A 1601 and a 16014. That's it. Two date justs. But they actually gave me my money back. Long story short. Poker Rich 9, £2. Thoughts on the Tudor Coke? That's the GMT one, Bear. I like it. What do you think of the Tudor Coke?
I seen it. I tried it on. I don't like the gilded dial. I don't like the way. I don't like. I don't like the way it looks. They were trying way too hard to give a vintage feel, and I'm over it. I just don't like it. I would not even consider it. But nevertheless, it's been still popular, and people do buy
When he
them.
says
They
Coke, you
the
mean a
two.
Pepsi, isn't it? Pepsi. It's a Pepsi, Bear, isn't it?
No.
Why is
He's
it called a
talking
Coke?
the new Coke.
Oh, okay. Fuck. Okay, fair enough.
is this what a Blackberry 58?
It's very easy to. It's very easy to Google. I don't know what's confusing you.
I'm just trying to find it.
There was a lot of talk about it, Tachi, after
There's some
that.
Just trying to find it, Bear. We're just trying to find this thing. Where is it? I'm just trying to find it. The Coke. That's not the two-tone one. Pepsi, 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 Pepsi. The Coke. Black Bay GMT. I like the
Yeah.
Black Bay Pro.
Is it a Black Bay Coke or Black Bay 58? What is it?
What is it, Bear? I'm just trying
It's
to
a Black
find it.
Bay GMT watch. I can give you you want a reference number?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Google Tudor,
give-
Tudor Black Bay GMT, and that's it.
Tudor Black Bay GMT.
Oh, not Coke, Pepsi. Fuck me, Dad. What the fuck am I talking?
Sorry?
Okay, yeah, I got to pull
Black-
it up on my phone right here.
I'm trying
now.
to find it. The Coke.
It's a 58.
Oh, it's a
Is it?
58.
Okay. There's 4300.
It's a 58. That's what it is, Bear.
41 millimeters.
Yeah.
It's a sharp looking watch.
I don't like it. I don't like the gilded dial. But I'm saying it's still popular. Two watches that are most popular from Tudor right now are this watch and
Is there any
Monochrome.
investment potential of these?
no, there is no investment potential whatsoever.
What do you mean by
Okay.
gilded dial?
You
It's
know
got
when
that gold
they make it
writing,
like a
gilt.
gold, yeah,
Oh, the indices.
the gold
and
hands and stuff like that.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Tudor's got.
You know,
I tell you what, I really do love my Tudors, Bear.
the lugs
I
kind
have
of
a-
roll off, kind of almost. The lugs roll off in a not so elegant way. You know, the transition from the lugs to the bracelet.
I agree.
It's like they fall off a cliff, like woo. You know.
I agree. This watch would be actually too small on you to begin.
It's 41. It's not that small.
39.
Oh, really? I mean, I was reading a different watch then.
The 58s are smaller.
Black Bay GMT. Okay, that's the one that I'm looking at. That's oh,
That's an older version. That's
okay.
Pepsi.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay. So, you know what? This is not my forte. I just looked it up on my phone, so I'll watch on the show and watch the correct thing. So that's the new Coke or the Coke.
You betcha. What do you
But it's
think?
a Black Bay. It's a Black Bay 58.
Correct. Which is
with-
smaller than 41.
and but this doesn't seem to have the fake rivets on the bracelet.
You're right.
I might like this
No, it
one.
does, Bear. I think it has got the fake rivets. Look at the one on the screen here.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Look at
does.
this.
It does. It does. It does.
It
Bear.
does. Oh man. Okay.
I love the fake rivets. What's wrong with the fake rivets? Why are you anti-fake rivets, guys?
It's not. It's not very
It's a
aesthetically
beautiful
pleasing.
watch. Too.
Yeah.
You can see the bracelet here, Bear. Look at the bracelet. It's
Nothing
fucking
terribly
sexy.
wrong with the watch. The hype over it is probably the other reason I don't like it. I like it because it's so good, basically.
It's not hyped anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just. It still sells. You know what? For Tudor at this moment, there's nothing hyped. It's just there's shit that doesn't sell at all, and then there's a shit that sells a little bit.
Yeah.
You have a super
Yeah.
chat, Archie?
We got a super chat. Thank you so much there. Patek Philippe, $2. Who had a better, Victor or Zane? I think Victor did. Remember Victor?
Of course, I remember Victor.
What happened to him?
I'm still in touch with Victor.
Yeah, he's a great guy. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Victor.
Victor was very special, Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to be totally honest with you. you don't. I kind of would like to catch up with him again.
Yeah, yeah. He's a cool guy. I agree, John Gold.
He's a very cool guy. Zane was a bit of a show off, but don't you think?
It was
It
a
was
good
all-
show with him. It was interesting to see reactions, and it was very entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, entertaining. That's the word for it, Bear. It was very entertaining. I completely get it, Bear. Let me tell you something. I tell you what I would like to do is actually go. I want to do the bees, Bear.
You want to do the bees?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I only want to have Breitling, Breguets, and Black Bays. BBB.
Oh shit, that's a new one. When did you think of that one? Fuck me.
The bees. 3 Bs. Breguet, Breitling, and Black Bay. That's it. What do you
Oh
think
my
of that
god, that's
idea?
a disaster. That's a recipe for disaster.
Donny Haynes, he's a Breguet man. That he drives an M4.
Yeah, he can afford it, of course. No problem. I don't dislike Breguet, but to base the collecting strategy on 3Bs, that's fucking weird.
He's a nice guy.
Donny's okay, man. You have
know.
another super chat from the Patek Philippe, Archie.
Patek Philippe, $5. Name the top 3 most obnoxious collectors you've ever come on our stream. I'll start by helping you out with one, but you can't use him for the 3. Rudy Dobson. Fuck.
Rudy Dobson. Yeah, what? He was a musician. Where was? What was his band?
Well, he was a keyboard player for the Bee Gees.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right. My goodness, that guy was
Fucking
obnoxious.
ego. That guy had
Holy
ego, didn't
shit.
he?
No kidding, man. No kidding. All right, Archie. You have to pick 3 most obnoxious collectors that have ever come across your stream.
I'd have to say that Raphael Young, the guy with
All
the
right.
ponytail.
Yeah. Of course I know.
Noxious. Fuck that one. Fucking hell. The next one, Bear. Zane was very obnoxious.
Cool.
Zany Poo.
Yeah, cool. I get that. Yeah.
And I would have to say Plastic.
No, Plastic. I'm sorry, I disagree with that one.
No, Plastic.
To me, that's your choice. I'll put Cars and Chrono rather than Plastic.
Oh, Cars and Chrono.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a flexer. He's more of a flexer than a collector. What do you think?
Yeah, he's a huge flexer, and I find that obnoxious.
Yes.
But that's me personally. I don't really care. I don't think Plastic was always flexing. He was just teasing you.
Yeah, you know why he's gone away, but don't you?
No, I have no idea.
Oh, because the market's gone down. He doesn't want to talk about it. Baby Dodge to the moon.
But well, I don't think that's why he's gone. To be honest with you, Arch. I'm sure he has his reasons. I mean, whatever it is, I'm sure he has reasons.
He was an interesting character, don't you think?
Oh my God, he was fucking gold. I mean, he drove me crazy, but in all honesty, he came up with amazing fucking impressions and comedy and trolling and jokes. And to this day, I don't think anyone could match that.
I got to tell you, the other people who were pretty crazy collectors, Bear.
Mm-hmm.
I must say, the people who were really crazy collectors, we had so many of them have come and gone, and they've kind of left the scene. Do you remember? Like we've had some remember, okay, so Clive, he was there. He's done the whole 180-degree turn on that, hasn't he? Another collector, obnoxious guys. What do you think the collecting brings out the worst in people?
No, not at all. There's a lot of collectors like that are actually quite nice people and enjoyable to talk to and be with. So no, I don't think. Flexing brings you much closer to being obnoxious. The flexing component is what the flexing component is what pisses people off. Yeah, Pablo, I'm with you. Don Haynes is definitely in top 3 for me as well.
Oh, Don Haynes, he's got a breguet, Bear.
He's annoying as fuck.
Patek Philippe, $5. Elaborate on your reason for adding the esteemed Raphael to the list. See, he's just a fucking complete. The thing I dislike about him, he puts other people down to build himself up. That's a sign of insecurity.
Right.
And let me tell you this. It's what Curly uses all the time. He puts people down to build himself up. It's the oldest trick in the book. You look at all these fucking people. They put people down to build themselves up. Okay? And these so-called friends and people like that, if you need to put someone down to make yourself more superior, you've got your own fucking problems.
For sure.
You know, we're forgetting about the most obnoxious collector of all of
Who's
time, Marcello.
Yes.
He is absolutely hands down.
Not to me. Not to me.
Not. You know what I'm saying. You know, he's he definitely give him mad respect. You know, he's definitely knowledgeable and knows his stuff and has a knack for getting his hands on some of the craziest watches we wish we could ever dream of owning. But just, you know, over time, his, you know, and his exaggerated voice.
I find him funny. I find him very funny. I actually.
Yeah, no, I like him. But
yeah.
I just okay, forget it. Whatever.
No, hey, listen, that's you. You have a right to have your opinion, Mikey.
Yeah, and I don't mean obnoxious like in a terrible, you know, evil, bad way. Meant it more in a jovial way.
I think a lot of people share your opinion on that.
Yeah.
I must tell you, Bear, the thing with Marcello that is so obnoxious is that he, I think he was a bit triggered with Tan. Tan pushed him a little bit, and it was too over the top. And he can be, you know, I got a lot more respect. Let me tell you this, Bear. I actually have more respect for somebody who has a smaller collection they've built. I've always said this. Somebody who's built a simple collection, they've bought a few pieces, they add a Rolex, they add an Omega, they just do it slowly, not quick or fast or instant. Not AD bum chums, but someone who just builds their collection slow. I got a lot more respect for them. You know what I mean, Bear?
Yes.
And I think that's the sad thing with this hobby is that it is such a flexing thing. This Instagram world we live in, like I really, let me tell you something. Can I tell you, I want to share something with you, Bear. Please. Let me grab the super chat. Please play vid sent to WhatsApp from Tom Burnett, $2. I'll get that ready. You know what's interesting is that years ago, I didn't even know collecting existed.
Correct.
And I always wanted a Rolex. That's how I got into watches. I wanted a quality watch. And I must tell you this. The funny thing is, Bear, is that what happened was I then got a Rolex, and I had an Omega at the time, and I remember, is this the one from Tom Burnett? This is a short. Where's it gone? Just 1 minute there. I just got some. Sorry about that. I just sent something. Tan sent me something, and it's a short. It's a short. It's a YouTube short. Oh, 1 minute. I'm just getting it now. Here we go. What's this, Bear? What's this? I'm bringing you. Oops,
If you had to buy an espresso coffee in a jar like Nescafe, for an equivalent kind of caffeine dosage, a jar of Nespresso coffee, should such a thing exist.
I'm just trying to get this thing that Bear he sent. I'm just getting it now, Bear. Sorry about this. This is a clip that Patel has asked me to play. Let me get this clip up before. Here we go. Here we go. Look at this. It's on the screen now, Bear. Let's play it.
Thomas, we're going to do an stickering.
Yeah, I was just saying. So this is the Watch Apprentice's watch, IWC.
41 chrono.
I had a look at the back, and he's got a sticker, and I said stickers are for losers. He's had it on for 3 years,
Thomas, he's calling me a loser.
but he's happy for me to peel the sticker off.
Go on.
So take that. That was painful. It's done. So, hi, Thomas. We got the Watch Apprentice.
Thomas.
What a beautiful unstickering. Did you see that, Bear?
Yes.
That was amazing. Here we go. Patek Philippe, $10. Name the top 3 AD bum chums that have joined your channel. I will start with one, but you can't use him. Bear Clooney. Mr. 3 unboxings in 1 day. Fight that guy. Let me tell you, ADs. Do you think ADs are your friends or not?
You do understand the question, right?
Mm.
You don't. He wants you to
Yes.
name 3 people that are basically flexing their relationship with the ADs.
Well, you got Marcelo.
That would be number 1.
I would say you've also got Goldberg.
Number 2.
I would also say, Bear, you know who else I would also put in there?
Tell me, Archie.
I tell you who else I would put in there is that you would have to include Mark Goldberg. He
So
always talks about
You want to do double Mark Goldberg?
Mark
You already
Goldberg.
did Mark Goldberg.
Who else is flexing the AD connection?
So far, you have Marcelino and Marky.
Oh yeah, I tell you who else.
There,
There is
you're up there. You're up
Lolex.
there pretty
Lolex,
high.
please. Lolex, please. He's somebody who licks the AD's ass.
I am there, Mikey. Here, there. You see in the super chat, he already listed me 10 the man.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no.
I don't agree with Lolex. I don't agree with Lolex. I agree with John Galt, JJ.
You agree with that?
Yes.
Oh, what makes you say that? Well, he does. He licks the AD's ass, doesn't
Not
he?
just not that he licks AD's ass. He likes to mention that he's got it at AD at retail.
Yes. Yes, he does mention that. He never seems happy, but does he? Does he ever seem happy?
Would
Do you
you
think
be?
he's ever been happy?
Would you
Sorry?
be? Would you be?
With what?
No comment.
Would you be happy?
In this place?
You talk about JJ?
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
I mean, the thing is, he just doesn't seem to ever be. He never finds the watch. Like, he's had some amazing Pateks. He's had 5960.
Watches are probably the best part of his life. But anyway, next super chat, Patek Philippe.
Patek Philippe, $5. Name the top 3 watch investors that have joined your channel. I'll start with one, but you can't use him, fella.
The most obnoxious watch investor, in my opinion, is not on your channel, but that would be the so-called Boston collector, who should be called Boston investor. So I would say that is by far the most obnoxious so-called investor. But on your channel,
that's actually not the question, Bear.
What's the question,
Top
Mike?
3 watch investors that have
Just
joined
the top
your
3
channel.
investors, not the top 3 most obnoxious. Just the top.
I'm going to
3.
tell you the truth. The investors, I think Plastic was an investor.
You're really picking on Plastic, but I don't think he was an investor, because he was buying watches and keeping them and not really looking at them as something that's going to make him rich. His investing part was primarily with that crypto. That's the part that he was
garbage.
into. I think I'm not hammering. Mike is not hammering me. Mike is nice. I like Mikey. Mikey is sweet. Jimmy, I love Mikey. What did I want to say is, yeah, John Galt, I agree. Plastic was a hype chaser, but I wouldn't call him an investor. And yeah, Pasta is right as well. He loved watches. He wasn't about the money. He really wasn't about the money. I think if we want to talk investor set of mine, I would say Marcellino. Marcellino is there for sure.
See, Marcellino, you know what's wrong with Marcellino, but
well, many things. But I'm curious what you want to pick.
If you are in this hobby, right? It's not just the buying. You've also got to do the selling. The buying and the selling works together.
Correct. It gives you longevity. It gives you longevity, and also it gives you opportunity to try more watches. You like to call that like a mini dealer, but not in a sense that you're doing it for money, but you're doing it to actually open the opportunity for you to experience other pieces.
Well, and let us live vicariously through you.
Okay.
Well, when he gets a new watch and he wears it, and we get to find out what it's like and what it's about.
But everyone attacks me. Whatever, the problem that I get so disheartened in this community, I got to be honest with you, Bear. I get so fucking depressed.
Tell me why.
That I buy something. Let me fucking tell you a few things, Sunshine. What really depresses me is that I go out of the boundaries, okay? Yes. It's easy. You could just pick the hype. Pepsi, Cermet, Panda, Hulk, Starbucks.
We get the point.
Long story short.
Batgirl, Bruce Wayne.
We get it. We get it.
And you talk to these fuckwits, and you know what their dream watch is?
I'm one of those fuckwits, right?
Their dream watch is a Nautilus or an Aquanaut.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. And then, right. So what I try and do is I try and bring some balance in, right?
Right. You bring your JJ Lacoute and you bring
Now, I don't just go out there and say, right, I'm going to get indies, like Kari Voutilainen or Buffoon.
Buffoon is the best.
I don't do that, right? Because that's too obscure. It's too obscure, right? That stuff's unsellable in my market, okay?
F. Pigeon would be a nice watch for you.
What I'm trying to tell you is, right, what I try and do is, so what I did is, I thought, right, what's some good value proposition?
You tell me, sunshine.
I thought, right, secondhand. So the big criticism with my previous collection before the burglary, girl size. And I got to tell you something, JJ
Well,
himself
there was two things: girl size and 5 identical Pateks.
Okay. So, okay, start again, clean slate.
Yes.
I took advice from the community. Which world time did I buy? You know what?
And everyone loves that watch.
I went to Federico. Federico said, get the 5130. Didn't he? Made a video about it.
All right.
Because my one I had before, it's not really the one that they want. Correct?
Okay.
Right. So I went to Fed. Fed said, get the 5130. That's the one, right?
Correct.
Then I wanted chunky monkeys. I started buying chunky monkeys like the Bregster, right?
Yeah, but let's be honest. You're buying that because it becomes available from Dave. You don't go and actually out of your way to look for that watch because you fell in love with it. It's not like you.
I always loved the Breguet. A gold Breguet?
Yeah, I know you like Breguet, but all I'm saying is it seems that it's whatever comes from Dave as a available purchase. And I don't blame you for that.
But you understand what I'm saying, but don't you?
Of course I do. You want to portray yourself as a guy who goes against the stream. You want to portray yourself as a guy who doesn't jump on a hype. You want to portray yourself as a guy who is about the good value. Yeah. So I'm not denying that. I'm not saying that's not true.
I added the.
So be proud of it. Why do you give a fuck if somebody disagrees with that?
Yeah, I think a lot of the negativity thrown at the Reverso, sorry, the JLC really hurt my soul, Bear.
Well, that's crazy talk because honestly, like to hurt your soul because of the watch, that's fucking nut job.
We want affirmation that we've made the right choices. We want affirmation.
Well, you do realize that people like the shtick as well, and they like to tease you.
I know. I got to tell you.
Even Mikey commented on that Zezhelakut on the pushers. He didn't like the watch. He told you the truth. He doesn't like it. He hates those pushers.
He loves the watch.
No, he doesn't. Mikey, are you here?
He doesn't? You love the watch, Mike.
No,
he told me he loves the watch.
No, he hates that fucking watch.
Even Eddie said, don't sell it. Eddie, you know Eddie?
Well, Eddie is just very, very much feeling like he wants to protect you. And now that you said that this is hurting your feelings and so on, Eddie's going to probably be even more forceful about how much he loves your watches.
Do you buy anything that goes against the grain that the people hate? Do you do that?
Dude, I bought a fucking Tag Heuer tourbillon. What are you talking about? Would you say that's something that people say, oh, amazing, you bought a Tag Heuer tourbillon? I have my friends fucking trolling me about this all day long.
Mm-hmm.
It's
your money. You can buy what you like.
Exactly, and I have my reasons. I explained to you, and you understood. My reason always was that I always wanted to experience tourbillon, Swiss-made tourbillon. It's very cool to me. What the fuck other Swiss-made tourbillon can I buy that's under fucking 30 grand? You tell me.
Maybe a JLC?
I highly doubt they have JLC tourbillons that are 20.
Oh, you want a brand new one? You don't want to buy second hand?
Even second hand. You want to tell me there is a JLC, tourbillon JLC for 23, 24 Canadian?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get the point.
Let me see what John Galt says. Hang on. I want to see. Bear bought a red. I bought a red IWC Portugieser. toxic fucking sludge and against the grain all day. You trolled me on it. You made fun of that watch. I fucking did not just buy it. I also bought a bracelet for it, spent more money on it, and then I sold it and lost money on it. So fuck me dead. You think I do the right things as well? No.
We got a super chat. I got to catch this super chat here. Pavel, $2. Top one weirdos that call people's AD to get them axed. Top one weirdo that call people AD. Yeah, have you had people try to contact your AD, Bear?
Oh, in the beginning, tons, but they just laughed at that. My AD is a personal friend, so I don't think they can touch me.
Yeah, that's a good point, Bear. You've got to keep up that.
I'm a chum bum. IWC. Now that you mentioned that, so I decided not to buy Engineer. And can I tell you what actually made me decide not to buy it?
Yes, it's too expensive. That's the problem. I can tell you
I had a
exactly.
good discount. I had a very good discount. Very good discount offer. I'll tell you what happened. So I put a watch on the wrist, and I had a flashback. And you know which watch appeared in that flashback?
Yeah.
Yema Urban Traveler.
It's a terrible watch.
Google Yema Urban Traveler.
I'll get that watch up on the screen now for you, Bear.
So I bought Yema Urban Traveler when they came out, and I just didn't like it. Something just didn't click, and you know what? It kind of really reminded me of that watch when I
like
actually
that watermelon watch you bought. That's what I love. Remember you bought those watermelon watches?
They're fun, but they're not well made. They're not very high quality.
What color Yema did you get? Did you get the blue one?
I just told you
or
Yema. I got the blue one. Yema Urban Traveler. Just bring it up.
Yeah, they're fucking gorgeous. These are actually look like a Gerard Perregay. That's what they look like.
I gotta tell you, I didn't like the watch, and when I put the new Engineer, it immediately gave me that feel, and I could not pull the trigger. I could not pull the trigger, Archie. Put the white one. That's exactly the Engineer that I was actually trying.
Yeah. It's loading up. It's a bit slow.
That's okay.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's exactly how Engineer looked to me. And I simply, something happened.
These are only a $900 watch, but these are $900 watch.
Exactly. And Engineer is, you know how much. And I'm like, fuck it. I can't. I cannot buy this. I cannot.
Patek Philippe is asking about top 3 beefs. Here we go. Patek Philippe, top 3 beefs. AC3, tell us your top 3 beefs you've had on YouTube and give us a quick, small description of each of them. Well, I would say the beef number 1 was with Clivers. He left the stream. We had a toxic relationship.
Classic. You have no friends. And you're famous. Do you know about Explorer? Like you said I cannot
Does
describe.
less than nothing.
That's less than nothing to it. Oh, that was fantastic.
Angry. And then the other beef I had was with, remember I had that beef with, we had that beef with Marco Ferrenti.
Oh, the Soy Wars?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They used me to build their profile, didn't they? That's what they did. They used me and spat me out.
Right. Hey, by the way, I I haven't heard to this day really. Um, I mean, JJ was saying that they're going to do a show on that. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. Not that it's
I never heard
actually.
what the fuck happened with Marco and Luxury Bazaar. Did you?
Yeah, I was just curious because he was a superstar. Honestly, there he was fantastic. He was best
Selling.
salesman amongst all those guys. He was
Yeah.
actually quite impressive. And that young guy, the Roman's right hand. What's his name? You know who I'm
Adrian.
talking. Adrian, right?
Adrian.
He really liked Marco. He was getting him involved to be a buyer, which is a higher level skill when it comes to these gray market dealers. He was having the kind of discussions with him about stuff. He was discussing the strategies and so on. And Marco was on fire, man, selling things big time and being very proactive and working hard.
Mm.
And then boom, boom, he just
Yeah.
one day wasn't there. And then they said they're going to talk about it or whatever, but never really anything happened. And I have
Remember,
nothing against Marco, to be honest with you. I actually like Marco. I think he's a young
remember
man
they were.
who's. Hmm?
Remember, Luxury Bazaar. They were going to turn it from $150 million company into a $300 million company. Remember that?
Yes, Lucas P. Nico. I think I asked Nico, and he actually avoided to answer. He avoided to talk about it, and I don't know. I don't. Let me put it this way. I'm gonna be honest. I would take Marco's side over Roman Sheriff's side all day long. Uh, that is just instinct, to always go for a person who is not in a position of power. And I do know that things happen at work sometimes. They don't. They
Yeah, but
don't.
sometimes you got to remember too, Bear. It's a tough market. You understand?
No, Archie. This has nothing to do with the tough market. He was a top seller. He was outselling everyone. He was a lit. It was. You don't follow gray market or
Yeah, no,
whatever.
no, no. I know. They've got
No,
that
no,
new
you
guy who's
don't
just
follow.
left
What you don't follow is that
that program.
hundreds, the thousands of people in the comments were asking what happened. Everyone
Yeah.
was kind of taken by it. So there was really no simple explanation or simple answer to this. And
Yes.
to this day, I have
Could you
no idea.
survive selling watches? How would you go if Roman said, "Bear, you're employed"?
I don't aspire to do that, but I am great salesman, so yes, I could, of course.
How do you find it?
I'm great salesperson. I have a great sales
Yes,
skills.
I know. I kind of. I think it could be tough, but you know what I mean.
Every job has its difficulties and hard elements.
It's not a 9 to 5. They said it's not a 9 to 5 job, Bear.
Bezos, when you say, I think Marco got to a point where he felt he could leave the nest, that doesn't happen like that abruptly. So I don't see it as such. I mean, I've been in a business a long time in my life, and these kind of abrupt departures tend to be result of some kind of disagreement or some kind of conflict or some kind of and they certainly would not cut him over anyone else there. Again, he was outperforming every single person in sales department except Anna, who, by the way, has been there for decades and have established connections. Marco was running circles around his people.
Yes. No, that's right. He had a passion for watches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Very passionate
Something.
about
Don't
watches, and he learns. He's not like Tim.
I
Okay,
work.
contrary to Tim never really learned about the watches. He is very superficial when it comes to understanding of the watches, and you can see that that his most common response when he talks about the watch is "Wow, wow." Marco, on the other hand, reads, he gets informed, he analyzes things, he gets deep into understanding of watches, and he, I think, always had that passion about it. So, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure I would have taken his side over Roman Sharf. I really do. And I think Roman and that guy, the other guy, what the fuck is his name, Archie? I keep forgetting his name.
Adrian.
Adrian, I think they fucked
Adrian.
up losing this young man. I really do, because
You know-
he was fucking good for them.
Let me tell you something. I don't want to say anything bad about Marco Ferrante, because I became a Mido salesman. Do you know how many Midos I sold in my time at the jewelry store?
Well, that's, I don't know what you, I mean, how is that even relevant to our conversation?
I sold none.
No, I know that, but how is that relevant to our
Give those
conversation?
fucking. I could have been handing them out at the front door. People wouldn't have taken them. I was fucking toxic. Toxic. I tried. Just because you have knowledge doesn't translate to good sales. You understand that?
No, I get that. But Marco,
And that scares me.
Listen, Marco has proved that he's a great salesperson as well. That's the part that like he has a proven track record. He was outselling his competition, and in big numbers. And then on the top of it, he was also gaining more and more knowledge. They had niche, rich customers, clients who were specifically requesting Marco to deal with. They did not even want to deal with fucking anyone
Roman.
else, including Roman. They wanted Marco. Okay, so that alone should tell you how well he was doing. This is why I'm puzzled, and I try to ask the questions, but I don't want to be perceived as I'm trying to find that out because I dislike Marco. Quite opposite. Quite opposite. And I know he's in a business still. I follow him on Instagram and so on, and he is doing well. And that's not the point. He's not in any trouble, or he's not like out of business. But I want to know, why would a superstar get out?
Maybe it was time to leave, Bear.
Well, that's a very generic kind
There's
of
a lot
way
of pressure there. Roman's not. I mean, I have met Roman. He's a lovely guy, but I don't know if I'd like him as a boss. Do you see what I mean?
Good point, Archie. That could be that could be he might, yeah. You know what, Archie? That could be. You have another super chat from Patek Philippe.
Patek Philippe, $5. AC3, my top 5 of your best beefs. Give us a small description. Suckerhorn, TGV, Rodent 2, Andreas, and M7.
It's not Andreas.
Me and
it's Adrikos.
Suckerhorn had a
Can you please
falling out years ago.
Can you please pronounce Adrikos properly? He deserves that.
Okay,
It's not Adrias.
Adrikos. Suckerhorn, me and Suckerhorn had a falling out. It was such a stupid thing. And we ended the friendship. And that was with the Greg Davis thing. And I just said, look, I don't want to do anything to rock the apple cart. And anyhow, he didn't handle that well. TGV used me. He befriended me. He wanted me to help him get his profile done. Then he said to me, "Can you take the video?" He used me, Bear.
But he used a lot of people. He used you. He used Federico. He used Gianmarco. He uses people. He's very, very ruthless when it comes
Federico
to.
also used me. Federico paid for me to go to Thailand, which I graciously accepted. I introduced him to Luxipu, and Federico said, how do I go about getting a YouTube channel working? And we gave him advice. he had free advice. We gave him a bit of advice.
I don't think Patel even listed him. You should focus on what Patel is listing.
Rodent 2. Who's Rodent 2? That's Bark and Jack, isn't it? I'm trying to remember. Who's Rodent?
Well, isn't that Tingler?
Tingler. I can't remember the beef with Tingler. Can you?
No. Not really.
Because we had a beef because it became very factionalized. John turned against him or something happened, and it was his friend was upset with him, and that's always
So there was basically fight by association.
Yeah. But me and Drikos always and Andy always stayed, we were always friends still. Even when Adrikos joined the M7, they were a group of YouTube channels.
Now we're talking. This is my favorite beef of yours. This is
The
my
M7.
favorite
That was a group of
M7.
YouTube watch channels to come against me. Oh my God.
That's the best. You know what? These fucking cunts think they are something today. This was the best, man. M7. Archie, Lister, explain to the punters about M7.
So they were a group of channels against me. They had turned on me. We had John Suckerhorn, TGV. Okay, that was the urban gentry. We had who else did we have? We had Guido Pelagos. You know Guido? We had Andy Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
We had, who was that bald guy? You know that bald guy who worked as security? He was there. Who else there? We also had, I'm trying to remember them. Who else was there?
It doesn't matter, but 7 channels united against you.
Yes.
And what happened at the end?
TGV was leaking me stuff. It was all treacherous. You know what I mean?
They were treacherous snakes, Archie. Treacherous snakes.
Yeah. In the end, it disbanded. Remember that?
Of course. Archie, we have another super chat. Mike, you're making too much noise.
Oh, sorry.
Super chat, Patel Philippe, $2. Please play Rodent 2 Gunzap beef vid in your WhatsApp. Let's get this one here. I'm just getting it loaded. You got a very noisy microphone today, Mikey.
No, my sugar went low, so I had to eat something. So I was scraping the bottom of a yogurt.
No, your microphone was noisy. It's noisy.
Andreas,
noisy.
me too.
Noisy,
I love that.
Earlier or now?
I love that Pepsi Steinhardt video. That was fantastic. His stories were always interesting. As a matter of fact, I bought Steinhardt because.
Here we go, Bear.
Today, guys, I would like to talk about the NATO strap rip off. You can buy NATO straps on the flea for as little as $3.65. I'm not trying to forcibly sell you fucking.
So Gunzap reached out and asked if I gave a fuck about NATO straps.
I don't give a fuck. Fuckaroonie. Fucking moon. Fuck off. Fuck you. You fuckers. Fucking coffee drinking fuck.
And yeah, that's something I'm passionate about. He asked why anyone would buy a £20 Bark and Jack NATO strap when anyone can buy one off eBay for 55 cents. Fair play. He's done his research. But then he said £20 for Bark and Jack NATO straps, a complete rip-off. But look, are you really going to trust your Rolex Submariner on a 55-cent native strap off eBay?
Oh,
What about your
fuck me,
Bremont? Of course you
this
fucking
guy
not.
is such
You
a
want the creme de la
douchebag.
creme. You want the dog's bollocks, the rat's testicles. You want the real deal. Only Bark and Jack straps have a level of quality at a price point that makes sense. Only
Fucking
authentic
snake
Bark and
oil
Jack
salesman.
straps have the logo etched on the buckle. But the most important thing about these native straps is the Bark and Jack native straps. They kind of give you access to this kind of secret club. That alone is enough to justify the price point.
Why is
To
this
make
so
the price
patchy,
point
so
make
blocky?
sense.
That you're
Anyway,
into
Guns
this?
Up gets it. He's behind what we're doing. He's bought into this
So
brand.
cool.
So I said to him, "Do you want to make a shitload of money?"
That's right.
I fly like you get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I go visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make a move.
So Guns Up reached out and asked if I gave a fuck about native straps.
I fly like you get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I go visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make a more day. I get one down in a second if you wait. Sometimes I think sitting on trains. Every step I get to, I'm clocking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame.
How is that, man? Look, isn't that a fucking great production?
Beautiful, man.
NATO straps. Bark and Jack, he's done well, hasn't he? Adrian Barkey's. They've all renamed it as their. I think that was a great name, Bark and Jack, but I don't know why he changed his channel to Adrian Barker. I don't get it. Do you?
He went Houdinki way.
Houdinki.
Credibility.
Houdinki was too professional, don't you think?
Well, that's what the Bark
you
and
think?
Jack, that's what he's trying to do. He's Adrian Barker. He is it. He is the credibility. He is the guy with the patches on his elbows. Right?
We got some super chats coming in here, Bear. Let me grab this chat. Frank V. Pull up the video of Mike the Snake building a botched watch box. Unfortunately, I don't have easy access to that. That was from Sovron, and unfortunately, yeah, I had those clips. Unfortunately, when the burglary happened, I lost a lot of video content, I'm afraid. We got Pavel, $2. Mike the Snake mentioned possibly buying a watch this month. Yes, he's going to get a Submariner.
Oh,
aren't you, Mike? You're getting a subby, aren't you?
I'm hoping if things work out.
You got some trust fund money coming in, don't you? You got trust fund money coming in.
It's not that at all. But yeah, I maybe actually now that I've seen that Black Bay Submariner.
You like
Don't
that,
buy
eh?
a Tudor, Mikey.
I really
Don't
like
buy
that
a Tudor.
Tudor.
Mikey, Tudor's fucking plummet, man. I'm telling you, just be
They
very
do
careful.
plummet, Mikey. They do plummet.
You don't want to buy that, okay?
Yeah, but you know what? I always like in 5 years I'll sell it and I'll take a bath just like I would if I bought a Rolex. You know, I always seem to lose money when I turn around and sell things. So, I don't know. I know the real things.
We'll think about
I'd
it,
be
Mikey. Just think about it.
Mikey, I'd be
another
inclined to go to
super chat.
David SW. We're going to super chat JGL, $15. Hi, Arch. Been fan for a few months now. Keep up the good work, guys. Had the opportunity to pick up a Lange 1815 flyback chronograph with a friend. Have a new appreciation for dress watches. You betcha. 1815 flyback.
I love that watch. My favorite configuration is the white gold with the black dial. I think it's beautiful. So I'm not sure exactly which one you picked. Did you pick one in in a rose gold, or they call it pink gold, or did you pick up the white gold? So this watch is one of those rare langes that actually really ring my bell and get my attention. A beautiful dial, beautifully configured. The movement is absolutely gorgeous. It has such a nice structure, architecturally very beautifully produced movement. The finish is amazing. This is a breathtaking, heart-stopping watch. This is a movement itself is a piece of art, and that's L951.5 movement. I like the dial because it's truly nicely well organized layout. I'm not big fan of like Mikey sometimes mentions asymmetric dials. This is very symmetrical dial. Archie, you're gonna bring the watch on the screen.
Yeah, that's a good
It
point
has
there.
it has a beautiful like slightly shifted below the horizontal center line. There are two sub dials, which are kind of very classical look.
You know, my friend Dave actually had one of these
I love the
1815.
railway or truck minute scale. Are you gonna bring the watch? The
I'm bringing it
additional
up now for you.
graduation on the minute scale is also like very beautiful. This is the lange that I would like to get. So this is something. This is also, I believe, it's a pulsometer scale on the outer ring of
I
the
think you can
dial.
get different. The pulsometer. I think you can get different ones.
I am talking about the one I want, but in the meantime, I'm sure you will eventually bring it on a screen. So we're hoping
Yeah, there
that
we
we
go.
will see it soon. Look at that movement, please, Mikey. Mikey,
Wow.
look at that.
My goodness.
See, Bear, if you got rid of your Patek Aquanaut, you could possibly get one of these. You know that?
Oh, I'm not getting rid of my Patek Aquanaut.
See, it's such a beautiful watch, Bear. You see what I
think
mean?
it's gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous, and congratulations to JGL, man. What a pickup! What a remarkable watch. Wear it in good health, and God bless you, man.
100% right, Bear. 100% right.
That's like
Bear,
next
it's
level.
nearly time to wrap up this show there.
You have another super chat, big boy.
Yes, we do. We've got a super chat here. This is Patek Philippe, $2. Top 3 punters that came on your show. Mimi T would date.
So
I would
you
have to
understand the
say
question? Do you understand the question?
Zin Tingler. Yeah, Zin Tingler.
And explain why.
I would, because he's an executive, high income, just a great guy, fella.
Correct. Why?
And I would also say, fella's just he's a fucking hedge fund manager, for fuck's sake. I'd fuck fella, okay?
Would you fuck him?
And
I hear also he's very
fella's
good looking. Is that true?
Yes, he is. And finally, you know who else?
Who?
Yankee. You know, the one who keeps asking us profile 27,
Yankee Doodle?
35.
Yankee Doodle?
Yankee Doodle. Yankee Doodle.
Yeah, because these guys are like, how would you call them? They're a modern version of Patrick Bates.
American Psycho.
Yeah, they're 3 psychos.
Patrick Bateman. It's Patrick Bateman
yeah,
with the
Patrick
eggshell
Bateman, yes.
business card. The business card. Remember that?
Do you think they're a little bit psycho, these 3 guys?
Oh, they're ruthless.
Good
they're
for
ruthless.
them. They definitely
You know that?
are.
They're ruthless. Absolutely ruthless, Bear.
That's
Come on,
and
you
they're
know this.
they're all three very successful. They're all very successful. Good for them.
Far too successful, Bear. Far too successful.
Man, oh man, does
And
this
I got
Patek Philippe know how to put a good topics for the show? You know what? So much easier
oh
with these topics, man. He engages you. He brings the memories back. He brings the watch talk. He brings the comedy, a little bit of the drama. Man, what a producer. What a fucking producer.
what a producer.
Look at
Let's
what
thank
Andreas just
everybody,
look at
guys.
what Andreas just says. Please bring the Andreas comment on the screen. This is what's all about, Archie. Read it, Archie.
Great stream, Arch. You delayed me from catching Netflix. Obviously, you jumped the shark in the right direction. What a nice comment.
Man, Archie, that should make you feel good, honestly. Think about it. It actually ended up
Yeah,
being a very good show, man.
it was a great show. It was a great show. It was really good, Bear. I really enjoyed it.
Me too, actually, Archie.
Very, very good.
I watched it. I watched the part with 10. Nobody
Yes.
can put a watch show in this Archieverse like he can. It flows so smoothly. It touches on so many topics. It covers the watchdog by its nature can be very boring. Let's be honest, but it's not boring.
Yeah, I
People
must
just enjoy
say,
it.
Lord, remember Lord,
I
he
connected.
tried to get some
I
serious
connected
watch
with
talk.
Lord. I connected with Lord. No.
Yeah, how's
Lord.
he
Lord
going?
is well. We just exchanged highs, hellos, and we connected.
Can we bring him
Books.
back?
Oh, I would love to have Lord back. Are you kidding me? But I don't know.
I
He
know.
wants. I don't want to even. To be very honest with you, let Lord do what Lord does. Okay. He looks good. He's in good place. He seems very. His Instagram is amazing. He's got so many followers. You know what? He seems very content. I'm happy for him. I really am happy for him.
He's a nice guy. He's a really
Of
nice
course, he's a
guy.
nice guy.
I like Lord. It's good to hear.
The thing, Yachin, you're not used to with people with integrity. Okay, like you need to understand. Some
Yes.
people just have a strong spine. They don't just leave and come back, leave and come back. This guy is a bit of a strong personality. A strong personality.
Yeah.
He's a very much opposite from, let's say, Marcellino.
I agree with you. Very educated man. Lovely guy. I loved him.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yes.
Bear, I've got to thank everybody today. I got to get ready to get the hell out of here, Bear. I'm leaving. You know that?
So, is there a show tomorrow?
No show tomorrow. I was going to get Luxie to do it. What do you think?
No.
Just forget it. Okay.
No. Yeah, it's don't bother, Lexi. If you're not on just have a break and then following day do the show from Brisbane. That's all.
Okay. Piece of cake.
And this is not against Lexi.
No. He's got to wake up. It's difficult for him too, and he gets a bit of backlash.
Counterproductive. It's actually sometimes counterproductive.
Yeah.
It's unfair to him. It's unfair to him.
Yeah.
Let Lexi do what Lexi does.
Let's go and have a look at the super chatters here who have been so kind to us. We've got Muhammad Ali, Basil's Bezos.
I love that guy, Muhammad. Love him.
America 5726. Muhammad Ali, Frank V. We had OC, member for 16 months. Let me just going to change the view here. I'm about to leave. I want to show you the view. Let's have a look at that view. Bear, that view. Look at the view.
Okay.
The view. Look at the view, Bear. Look at that
Very
view.
nice
It's
view.
amazing.
Very nice view. Yeah.
We've also OC. Thank you, OC. We had John Gold. We had Andreas. He was cool. Fella. Ready to lowball. Pavel. Patel Philippe. GB. Patel Philippe. Poker Rich 9. Patel Philippe. Patel Philippe. Pavel. Patel Philippe. Frank V. Pavel. JGL. Patel Philippe. And Pavel.
That's a new super chat, Archie.
Cancel the show versus insulting us with Lux. Okay,
Don't
no
be
show
so
tomorrow.
harsh, Pavel. Don't be so
That's-
harsh, okay?
He tries his best. He tries. Okay, he tries.
It's unfair to him to be on his own and to fucking do that prime time without Archie. That's just not. It's not easy to do. Okay.
It's not easy to do in the least. Guys, that is the show for today. I'm going to try and go to that Tim Mosso event, okay?
Very good, Archie. Give it a try.
Yeah, I'm going to try that. And Bear, I want to say something to you.
Yes, sir.
I want to say thanks, man. I just want to say thanks, man.
Well, it's
Thank
my
you
pleasure,
for the
Archie.
best birthday stream yesterday that you came on and helped us out.
It was a great stream. I enjoyed it very much.
I got to be honest with you. I am actually cutting back the training. I'm going to go to Japan. That's probably the last of the travel for a while. I won't be doing that anymore, Bear, which is good because let's face it, the Gonzo was crap.
Hopefully in Japan you can do some collab with Marcelino.
Should I see Austin at all?
Well, to be very honest with you, I would not. I would not say no if he's willing to, but I also would not be begging him.
Okay, fair point.
If he wants to, he wants to. If he doesn't, good luck to him. Let's be honest. Compared to you, he's nobody.
Oh. Okay, man. I want to say thank you. I'm leaving tonight. Out of here. Bear, thank you for your support. It really does mean a lot. Tan,
Safe travels,
of course.
big boy. Safe travels. And,
thank you so much.
We'll
Safe
be
travels,
watching
Arch.
you in Brisbane, guys. Next show tomorrow, no show, and then the following day, guys, there'll be a show from Brisbane, from the famous studio.
You get a day off, Arch.
I'm on a plane. Thank you, guys. See you